You would never wear your niece's panties?
No, never.
Have you ever jerked off into her underwear?
Absolutely not.
Question for you, Jonathan. Are you a monster? Are you a monster?
Not at all.
Do you see where we're going with this?
I do. I do.
At the end of the day, there is no reason your DNA should be anywhere inside her underwear. Period.
This is 33-year-old Jonathan Keyless, and detectives would accuse him of being a monster for committing the most heinous crimes they had ever seen.
Jacksonville 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Did not come home from high school today. She going to County Park High School. Her phone is going straight to voicemail. Okay. You have no idea what she is.
What you just heard was the frantic 911 call her mother made moments after her daughter vanished without a trace on December 19th, 2018. Most of this footage has never been seen before.
You know, we literally had their kids, her kids, for summers. You know, summer at a time, and then, you know, weekends, like, all of them. And you know, it's just like, if we knew where she was at, we would have been the first ones to grab her.
Here lie the dismembered remains of 16-year-old, pregnant Iana Sawyer. And this is her uncle who put her there. How did a bright young girl who had just walked out of her school that day reach such a nightmarish fate? What you're about to discover will leave you breathless. The viciousness of this crime is beyond anything you could ever imagine. An unthinkably sadistic plot, which we will unravel before you very soon.
So you guys, when was the last time you all saw her then?
Last time they stayed the night over here, which was before, it was in November. Last week in November, we had all four of them over here.
This footage was taken on the day police began their search, with Jonathan Keyless and his wife, Naomi Mobley, present. At first glance, he seems like any other concerned individual in the face of a tragic situation. When Kimberly first reported her daughter missing, the police were quick to label it a case of a teenage runaway. But as the days passed without any sign of Iana, their concern deepened, and the investigation took a darker turn. Their focus soon shifted to Keyless, a man who claimed to be as distraught as the rest of the family. You'll soon discover that the truth about Keyless and the missing pregnant teen was far more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. It would go down in history as one of the most depraved crimes against a young girl.
Jonathan, I met you at your house before we talked Detective Abbott.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've met
No, I have not.
Detective Millwiki.
Likewise.
There's been a lot happened. We need to talk about, okay?
Yeah.
I want to listen to everything you got to say, but naturally I'm going to have questions. Can't really ask those questions unless I go through your rights. And this is a way to protect you, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I want to hear everything you got to say, but I'm going to read your rights first, okay?
Okay.
Now, Keyless finds himself in the interrogation room as the detective begins to uncover a trail that leads straight to him. But what exactly could have happened on that fateful day? As the investigation intensifies, the shocking truth is about to come to light.
One of the things that we're investigating, is with your niece,
Yes.
Samaya.
Oh, Samaya.
Yes.
Okay.
Notice how Jonathan exhibits the classic traits of a predator. A textbook predator often targets children who lack a strong adult presence in their lives, just as Jonathan did with Iana and Samaya. When the girls were questioned about their uncle's behavior, both denied any inappropriate conduct, likely out of fear. The incident Jonathan cites where Iana's brother found out about a guy she was seeing is only a fragment of the larger, more disturbing truth. As the interrogation unfolds, you'll see Jonathan revealing details that paint a different picture. He casually mentions how Iana texted him and even discusses the relationship he had with her. What he reveals next will leave the interrogators stunned and speechless.
So you're doing all these things with the girls.
No, with all of them.
Right, with the kids.
All of the kids,
But then they're accusing you of messing with the girls?
Correct. Yeah, and this is, they came out with that. They started like real heavy with it when Yana went with, you know, that boy across the street and doing all that. That's when it started like really thick. And then
give me an example of things they think were inappropriate.
Well, I would just say what they were saying, and again, this is not something that they came directly to talk to me about, because had they did, I would have whipped out my phone and say, hey, look, Kim, wait, no, this is what we talk about every day. And the majority of it.
So you talk to them on the phone?
Yeah, I talk to them.
Talk to them, what do you... So what, did you use Facebook?
No.
Instagram,
Yana Snapchat. Yana showed me about Snapchat.
Okay.
I didn't know nothing about Snapchat. I didn't even know what the hell.
I know. That's their language.
So, you know, that's what she showed me how to do. And then something about score streaks. So you send pictures in the morning and then in the afternoon or whatever, as much pictures as you can send. Like selfies or whatever, or even the sky, whatever. Right. You know, you get like a certain score streaks or whatever. I still don't understand that too well. But that's what we normally communicated through. Right. And the reason why is because, you know, it kind of sounds like incriminating now, but it's because the message is delete. And there's a lot of things that they come tell me about their moms, and that, you know, about just their everyday struggles being in home, because they never wanted to be home. And that was just something that they didn't want their mom, because it's happened before, and I'm pretty sure that's how it happened with the guy across the street, that she done went through her text messages and saw all this here stuff that they were talking about. And also prior to that, she had was talking to one of her friends about their living situation, and her mom just went smack the hell off on her, you know.
Which one? Who did she go off on?
Yana. Ayana was
Ayana.
Ayana. Yes, Ayana was her mom at one point in time had a real tight relationship,
right? And
then where that changed, I cannot put my finger on it, but it changed. And she got this sense that, you know, mom doesn't care about us, and that's both the girls that used to, you know, do that. Is mainly she doesn't care about us. All she cares about, you know, Mr. Darius and you know.
Is that her boyfriend?
That's her boyfriend. Yeah, Mr. Darius, and whatever they say about or whatnot. Yeah.
So the ants are accusing you of this kind of stuff, and you're telling me that Ayana and Samaya,
correct,
both said no.
Correct. That's right. They said nope. That never happened. That he's never been inappropriate with me or anything like that.
This troubling detail is a glaring red flag. Why is a 33-year-old man engaging with a 16-year-old on Snapchat where messages get deleted after a certain time frame? And why is this their sole means of communication? What kinds of pictures and messages are they exchanging in secret? In the next clip, the detective drops a bombshell that will make Jonathan's blood run cold. They've uncovered the horrifying secret he's been desperately trying to hide.
Okay, and then, so let me tell you how I got involved with this case, because if that were the case, I wouldn't be involved.
Absolutely.
Right, because that sounds like a non-starter. Right?
Correct.
So I get involved with the case when they're doing a missing persons report, right, for Ayana, is it? Ayana. And so while doing that, they were looking on her computer.
Correct.
And so they're finding stuff on the computer that she's authoring. That's implying a sexual relationship with you. Almost like a love affair.
Well, I also read the same thing because Margie took a picture of it and sent it to my wife. And this was the first time I did.
Okay.
And this was the first time that we were introduced to the police. They came to the house. This is after she ran away.
Okay.
And they came to the house searching for her and through our house.
Right.
So, yes, I also read it, and it was a character
what do you make
named
of that?
Jose. This blew my mind all the way around, because it's a lot of stuff in that thing we actually did talk about, you know, about her sister having relations with her boyfriend and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that is there that makes sense. And then there's other stuff that is like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense at all. This is not something that we've ever talked about. Right. You know, so
but some of it almost it's pertaining to your house or your home, and so because there was like 4 pages.
I only saw the
right.
I think 2 or whatever.
But in Reflect, right? Mm-hmm. So, but Samaya is also mentioned in there as well.
Correct.
So that's how I met with Samaya. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think Samaya would tell me if I asked her about those 4 pages?
Well, for what I was made aware of, Samaya was agreeing that the Jose character mm-hmm. was me.
Correct.
And she's mentioned that was me, and like I explained to my wife, mm-hmm. and I also got a text message from, I'm thinking it was Samaya, but my niece doesn't talk like that, through mm-hmm. the text message. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned to the person that whoever was text messaging me, uh-huh. I said, Maya, what the hell, you know, pretty much what's going on? Because at first, I have a daughter named Maya. Oh. At first, she and the message started like, are you mad at me? This is something Adobe phone. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that meant. It's like an Adobe phone. I still got a text message in my phone. And it mentioned, she says, I don't have, are you mad at me? And then I says, hey baby, how you doing? This, you know, how was your summer vacation? Oh, well, I mean, your Christmas vacation and stuff like that. Why would I be mad at you? And then she put, because I told, and I'm like, hold on. Who is this? Is this my daughter or this is my niece?
Right.
And she mentioned this is my niece. This is your niece Maya. And I said, hold on, baby. I can't talk to you. You got these people thinking that I'm some monster. You know, I'm a monster over here. I hope I told them, because this is what I also told the police. I told the police that they most likely forced her to say whatever they wanting her to say, because
who's forcing her?
Her mom. You know, I have my nephew and her used to date. Her youngest brother, Kyrie, supposedly caught them on the rocks having
her youngest brother. Okay, yeah. So Samaya's youngest brother.
Correct.
Okay,
caught Samaya and Kenneth on the rocks is literally right across the street. You see, it's just wide open, mm-hmm. Having sex.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay, and now, what was this?
This was I want to say. You can't quote me on it. I'll say maybe a few months ago. It was. Okay. It's just fairly 2018. 18. Fairly fresh. And
later part of the year.
Correct. Okay. So, everything boiled over. I called Kenneth. I says, "Hey, Kenneth, you know, mm-hmm. My sister-in-law is like screaming at my wife right now about you two having any relations on the rocks."
Right.
And he says, "No, that never happened. What are you talking about?" Then I hear my wife. I told my wife. I says, he's denying it, you know, and my wife was like, Samaya just admitted to it. Now, comes to find out, I just spoke to my grandmother today, or if not yesterday. Mm-hmm. She told me the story, and also my aunt also said the same thing too. And that's just kind of scary. Mm-hmm. She said Samaya came one day to school, and because he doesn't go to the same school, but he transfers buses there at the same school.
Sometimes they meet at a bus place and go to another school.
She met up with him. Her mm-hmm. face was super swollen, like as she got beat up, mm-hmm. and she gave him a letter. Uh-huh. And the letter pretty much was, I'm sorry, my mom forced me to, you know, admit that I had with you. Mm-hmm. I know it never happened, and yeah,
she said it
never happened. And this is like, it was like, okay, mind blowing, you know.
Right.
And also there was another time that Samaya told me this about her cousin, mm-hmm. which was Elijah.
Elijah.
Supposedly he was molesting her since about 5 to 7 years old until to about 2000 and beginning of 2018.
So I know about Elijah because that case was handled with us.
Correct.
After Iana went missing, her mother, Kimberly, scoured the computer for clues to aid in her search. There, she found a 4-page letter written by Iana. In the letter, Iana mentioned a man named Jose, who, as Kimberly later discovered, is actually Jonathan Keyless. It wasn't until Kimberly questioned her younger daughter, Samaya, about this Jose that the unsettling connection began to emerge. Fearing Jonathan's reaction, Samaya texted him to ask if he was angry. When Jonathan learned about the letter and the unfolding revelations, he scrambled to make up a story to support his version of events and deflect suspicion. Jonathan tries to discredit Samaya by labeling her as an attention seeker, despite her genuine fears and concerns. In 2017, when the siblings moved into the Keyless household to help care for their newborn cousin, Naya, Jonathan had suffered a broken femur, and his wife, Naomi, was seriously ill. With both adults incapacitated, Iana stepped in to babysit Naya. What started as a supportive gesture under difficult circumstances would soon turn into a deeply unsettling story.
Paula mentioned to my wife once the Kenneth thing happened, she says, this doesn't make any sense. And I truly think that she made that story up with Elijah as well, because, and this is how it's been happening. Ayana gets in trouble for something and Maya comes up with something. Something happens with Maya. Ayana gets in trouble with something. Maya comes something. She needs attention in some form, and I hate to say that, I really do.
Right.
But so far, that's kind of how things has been playing out. And I, like I said, I don't want to put no shade or anything on this situation. This is a very serious situation. I understand that, but that has been the track record thus far. So now Yana is missing. She ran away or whatnot. Now here I am sitting in the hot seat because Maya is mentioning me as that I was, I'm Mr. Jose.
Okay.
So.
Do you know who she ran away with?
I don't. Now, my wife asked me, when was the last time we had conversations with Ayana? And I think she gave you a date. And this is I guess, yeah. So, that's the only time I've known her to leave. And this is because we heard it through, the sisters, that she didn't show up after school or whatnot. And that's what it's been. I've been expecting Ayana to call me, text me, anything, Snapchat me, smoke signal.
How often do you usually speak with the girls?
The girls I speak with Maya and Ayana just almost about every day. We speak. Yeah, just about every day. We spoke.
What's your Snapchat name?
My name. Yeah, we speak just about all the time. And
Jonathan
Jonathan J. Quillers, I think it is. And we speak all the time. Now, like I mentioned before, they weren't happy. We even was setting up for them to live with us. They were actually entertaining the dining room. We were going to close it off, put a TV in, try to get mom to be okay with it. And her only objectives was, I'm claiming taxes on them. Type of deal. So it's been a pattern that just keeps on going with Kim. I'm not saying that she's a bad mother. She's very young. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that these girls need attention, and the attention wasn't there. So we were just trying to pull them into our life, to kind of keep them with us and have them,
You know why Samaya would tell me that you had sex with her?
I have no idea. No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because she's saying that you had sex with her and that she did not want to have sex with you.
That is absolutely absurd. No. Okay. I've never, ever, ever
Okay.
Got it out of line with the girls, never got inappropriate with the girls. If anything, I've always been trying to educate them on these stupid boys that's out here that's all about, because Maya really, her self-esteem is this big. And if you know anything about younger girls and self-esteem, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Every time I tell her how pretty, how beautiful she is, you know, I let her know that, listen, you keep your head strong. And the same thing when she came out about Elijah situation, you know, cause she told me, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, the guy that's supposedly having inappropriate, you know, contact with her, she was the one that confided to me, you know what I'm saying? And I coached her to expressing this to mom, telling them about it and stuff like that. And, you know, I only have ever just been, you need to keep your head up. You're straight A student. You're gorgeous. You know, you don't need to settle for, you know, nonsense. And that's all it's been. I've never, ever, ever got out of line with this girl. Ever.
With Naomi ill and preoccupied, Jonathan found himself unchecked and free to indulge in his horrendous acts. He began grooming the sisters, manipulating them into believing that his twisted affection was genuine love. This calculated deceit allowed him to exploit their vulnerabilities and set the stage for the horrors that would follow.
How would you explain that?
I would say that is not, that there's no way in shape in any form.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way.
Jonathan.
Okay.
There's no doubt that you're a good guy. You're a stand-up guy. You take care of your family. You take care of your family's family. I have no doubt about that. Okay. I have no doubt you try to be a father figure. I have no doubt you try to be a positive influence on those girls. No doubt in my mind. Okay. No doubt at all. It's obvious that you love those girls like they're your own. I can see your face light up, nice and bright when you talk about them, because you love them like they're your own. You know,
correct.
And I don't doubt that for a second. Okay, but I also know there's a reason why your DNA came back to Samaya's kit. Okay, the kit, they sent the clothes, her kit, and everything off. Or Ayana, I'm sorry.
Yana.
I'm sorry. I get the two mixed up all the time.
He's talking about Yana. So with the case across the street, there was a kit done.
Correct.
And she was wearing specific clothes to include underwear.
Yeah, she told me that was one of her biggest pet peeves, that they took her underwear from her.
Okay. So that's what he's talking
about. That's what I was referring to.
That wasn't my DNA. That I didn't.
100%.
No way.
It's DNA. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're a monster. I don't think you're a monster at all. Okay? I think maybe they came on to you and things went a little too far. It happens all the time. No. Okay, did you know the age of consent in Florida is 16? Yeah. Were you aware of that?
No. Not at all.
It's 16. But what happened. It's done. It's over with. The main focus right now is trying to locate Ayana.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where Ayana is at. I have no idea where to find her. She never told me anything about running away, and I can't. I don't know. I can't give you any information I don't have about her. Period. You know.
Did you know that truck number 7 picked up the rollaway garbage on December 20th? From the landfill?
I don't know what truck number. What are you talking about as far as?
The large container that takes about a week to fill up.
Oh, and
at your work.
At your work.
Oh, I don't know what trucks pick them.
The detectives are employing a strategic tactic, asserting that they believe Jonathan is a good guy in an attempt to appeal to his psyche and coax a confession. They have also already discovered suspicious items in a garbage truck and connected the dots to Jonathan, which revealed a gruesome reality.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So
that's no
I'm
way.
just saying, no, there's 100%. No. Because either I'm lying or it's 100%, and I'm telling you it's 100%. Yeah. That is something that I would never do in my business, in what I do. And let me tell you why. I have a policy on that. Because when I do what I do, because I'm special assault, that's what I do. right? Mm-hmm. If I go in a room and I say, yeah, I found your DNA, and they know their DNA couldn't be there, see, I'm fishing in the dark. I'm swatting at flies. And there's no sense in doing that because it backfires every time. And when I train other detectives, I tell them, don't you go in there and bullshit about DNA, because it either is or isn't. And if you don't know, then shut your mouth. That's where I'm at. I'm not shutting my mouth. The DNA's there. Now, I don't know how it got there in her underwear, so I'm not going there, but I'm just telling you. There'd be no other reason for her DNA to be there, right? But that's neither here nor there as to what we're talking about, because whatever's in her underwear isn't going to bring closure to her family, now is it? So I'm willing to shelf that for now. We'll shelf that one. But understand, say what you want about Kim, she's devastated because the child she birthed from her womb is missing, and her soul is dying, and her children cry, and I can't tell you how much we've put up with the crying. It's overwhelming them. They deserve better. They deserve better. Naomi deserves better. Your family deserves better. You were raised to be a quality person.
And that I am.
And they deserve to know the truth.
Yeah. I'm laying it all out for you. I'm laying it all out for you guys. I mean, you say you got DNA on me. I mean, I'm not trying to insult you.
Listen, that has nothing to do
like that.
That has nothing to do with
implying about a dumpster or whatnot at the job as if I had something to do with Ayana's disappearance, and this is what you guys are pushing towards me. You know, but you're not saying it. I mean, you're kind of beating around the bush with it. Just tell me what you guys are implying. You're implying that I had something to do with Ayana's disappearance. And then, and possibly being a dumpster? Is that where this is going right now?
We believe you're responsible for her disappearance, yes.
Okay.
And listen, there's a lot of things that can overwhelm people. You get backed in a corner, you get overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. You're hitting me at every angle. Your wife's on bed rest. Is she on bed rest?
Correct.
That is a very, very tense time.
It's not the first time.
Yeah, but it's a tense time, right? It's not a relaxing day at the house every day, because it's stressful for her every day. You know, because you want to do stuff and you can't.
My wife and I we have no issues whatsoever. Mm-hmm. My wife and I have no problems. I mean, in the first year of our marriage, it's been hectic, but other than that, we've been two peas in a pie. So you can't bring my wife into any of this thing that maybe this is the reason why I can possibly be the reason why Ayana is disappearing, as you just say. Mm-hmm. You know, truthfully.
How many months is your wife pregnant?
My wife is about to give birth.
Right.
Yeah.
And how far along was Ayana?
I don't know. The last
5 going on 6
the last we checked, 5 months or something like that.
That's stressful.
Yeah. I mean, for whom though?
It's stressful. That would be stressful.
Yeah.
For both of them at the same time.
I wouldn't know anything about Ayana being stressed about any baby, because when she finally let anybody know about her being pregnant, she was over 5 months already. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know. That was just as shocked as her mother.
And you read the diary?
I'm sorry?
You read the diary.
I just read only the the pages that was given to my wife.
How would you surmise that diary?
As a girl that had a vivid imagination.
Who was in love.
Yeah, and you know what? Yana's track record with boys is not.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty intensive with her falling in love with people.
And the thing about the diary, it was written over from 2017 through 2018, and the same love was the same love the whole time. And it wasn't the kid across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last I checked was,
she's pretty, you're handsome. Let's just not even beat around the bush. And she's very clear. She's very clear. It's the same guy. And this is a diary that she goes back to over periods of time. Still talking about the same guy. So for a fantasy, it's a fantasy she's been repeating for over a year. And guess who's the topic of her fantasy?
Jose.
Jose, you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
100%.
No.
So I also talked to Samaya.
Yeah.
Who's Jose? So Jose is my uncle.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not. I won't be surprised if they forced her to say that.
No, she didn't force when I was talking to her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I made everybody leave. Like, we had a conversation.
Yeah. That doesn't.
She doesn't. Samaya is a quiet person. But
this is crazy, dude. I'm like,
is not.
This is like, wow.
She is not as quiet as she is. She's a very dominant person, which is unusual. She has like a quiet power. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you can get somebody to do crap if you don't want her to.
In a startling revelation, it's disclosed that Iyanna was 5 months pregnant when she disappeared. Her letter, dating from 2017 to 2018, spoke of being madly in love with Jose. Given the context and the true identity of Jose, it becomes chillingly clear who the father of her child is.
I think that whole line, pleaser attitude, that's her manipulating.
It's been proven that she's easily manipulated by her mother.
Yeah, she didn't strike me as manipulated. And I know she told her, one thing I know is that she told her mom one story, but when I had her, we had another understanding. Cut the crap. And then she laid some stuff out with me that would just embarrass the hell out of her. Like stuff you don't want to say about yourself that she admitted to me that we're not complimenting to her. Right? But her mom wasn't in the room, so I let her do that. I gave her her respect. But she said things that weren't nice about herself. And that's when you know someone's being genuine. Because they cut the shit and they just say it like it is, right? Because it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to put it on the table. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off or jumping in a cold pool. You just got to go for it or you'll be tiptoeing all day long. And we can tiptoe, Jonathan, all day long.
It's nothing to tiptoe about.
I don't want to tiptoe. And I'm telling you right now, she said things that we're not complimenting.
I understand that.
And she was very descriptive and very clear. And we discussed the diary, and she was clear about the diary. And she said, Iyanna's a jealous girl. She is jealous. Who was she jealous of? And she was real clear. She was jealous of you. I mean, one word from you, one Snapchat from you, and she's in a tailspin. And that's, you know what? As a female, I can tell you, that's what first loves do. They're your most deep love of all. I can tell you about my first love many, 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 many years ago. Now, it wasn't the love of my life. It was my first love, the most intense. That's when you're like crazy. Crazy love. You do anything for them. If they say hop in the car, you hop in the car. If they want to take you for a ride, you just go. If you want to just quit school and go live in New York, well, you'll just go do it. Because you're crazy in love. And you're not even thinking rational. It's like watching someone play house. Really. Now, I say that as an older woman, but I got to tell you, when I was her age, it would have made perfect sense. You fall in love and you think, we're going to go get a house and set up shop. And I'm not even thinking about how we're going to make a living, or that I'm underage, or that I don't have my education. That's how crazy love is when you're crazy in love. You're very gullible. Okay? And she's gullible. She was gullible. And she was madly in love for over a year. Over a year.
I'm sorry.
And then I have DNA.
Jonathan never expected his brother Joseph to turn him in. But unlike Jonathan, Joseph had a moral compass and couldn't bear the weight of the hidden truth. He called the police, exposing Jonathan's devious scheme. When Iyanna revealed her pregnancy, Jonathan saw his carefully crafted lies collapsing and devised a deadly plan. Pretending to run away together, he lured her to his workplace, where his true intentions emerged. After a failed attempt to choke her, he coldly shot her in the chest. Jonathan might have gotten away with his crime if it weren't for a single mistake: confessing to his brother.
We know. It's over. This is done. This is totally over.
That no way this could happen. This happens every day.
Yeah.
You can sit there and sit there and go over this 1,000 times and keep saying no. But we know
the DNA doesn't lie.
We know this happens. Okay. Your brother had too many details, and maybe you did walk through on the video chat or whatever. He knew things about the inside of that junkyard that he wouldn't know. He knew things about that bridge that's between your home and your work, where you told him you threw her phone off in the river.
No way.
And you're going to sit there and still say
no. We have a dive team looking. Your boss is helping.
Yeah.
We've got dogs in that yard.
They found a car.
It's the little things,
when we went out there, they found a car with blood in it.
No way.
Listen.
There's no way, man. I'm telling you guys.
Jonathan,
there's no way.
Jonathan,
this is your time to get
devil
right.
is in the details. But let me tell you this, even just the little things throughout. Like your name didn't come out of a hat. We're not picking on you. When they questioned you, and they were talking to you at your home.
What time?
Homicide. Okay. You mentioned to them that she had 38 pair of underwear.
No, my wife mentioned that.
Huh?
She said she took her prized possession, all her Victoria's Secret underwear, and you said 38 pair.
Yeah, no. Well, I was giving. I don't know exact pairs of underwear for her, but I was just saying. That's what I'm saying. Really, that's what she held like to her highest standard was her underwear. Everybody, she does. I'm sorry, that's BS.
We asked her, and she didn't even know why we were asking.
She's like, yeah, she's got those underwear, but I don't know how many she has.
I asked Samaya off the cuff, you know how many underwear your sister? She started laughing, and she said, well, no. Like, why would I know? But you threw out a number, and it's so funny, because sometimes when people are hiding something, because they're desperate, they will hide it. But their body always tattletales on them. They give off things that they didn't mean to give off. And I can see her sharing with you.
To hide.
I can see her sharing with you.
My wife
little bags
that
packed.
set the numbers of underwears that she has. Because my wife knows.
Someone picked her up from school. And someone took her to where you work.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm sorry that you guys are thinking that this is the situation now, because I spoke to my brother and I know what he was telling you guys and all that.
Detail.
Yeah, and I'm like I keep on saying I'm sorry.
From you.
He did not get his details from me.
No, he did.
He did not. No,
I talked to him today.
Good. I'm glad you did. My brother. I mean, if that's what you're gonna if you guys got to go off of, I mean,
we are confirming everything he told us.
Okay. Then I don't know. But
this is your chance. This is your chance, man. Come on.
Seriously.
This is your chance to do the right thing.
Was so in love with you.
No.
So in love with you.
Not with me.
She was. And she definitely had a pair of underwear on with your guy swimming in it.
No.
Yes. That's 100% science. That's science you can't argue with. No. And that's from a long time ago. So this isn't even something that was recent. And I can see her being 5 months pregnant when your wife, who is a very dominant person, because you said yourself she's a blunt, pull no punches woman.
Sure.
And I got to tell you as a woman, if I'm on bed rest with your baby, I don't want to find out that my niece is also with your baby. And when we have little play dates, and we have well, seriously.
I'm being very serious.
You're correct on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll agree on that. That's a non-starter. And when you say, well, I don't have any pressure, listen, you did.
I did not. I don't have any pressure at all.
Listen, not even birthdays, just the same thing. How do you even have Christmas? How do you have any holidays? Because the little baby Ayana would have had was looking a lot like the one you just had, right? And that's evident from her diary, her 4-page diary, where she goes into great detail about how much she's in love with you. And on top of all of that, we have the DNA. Then we don't even know your brother. He found us. Are you kidding? He's calling us with details. You tried to choke her and she wasn't dying right and it was making you sick. Looking at her.
That is crazy.
Well, that's something no one asked for. Hell, I didn't even know you had a brother. He enlightened us. DNA is science. We can, that's given. She's speaking from the dead. She's speaking from the dead. 4 pages at different times of her love, professing her love, and how she wants to run away. How y'all are going to just be that little family that I talked about. How when you're so in love, you just are gullible and you do whatever someone says. And if they say, hey, pack a couple bags, meet me on the edge of your school property, we're going to run away together. Oh, I believe she did it. I certainly do. I believe she did it, and I believe it's just a matter of time. And the question is, you talked about Samaya making you out to be a monster. Question for you, Jonathan. Are you a monster? Are you a monster?
Not at all.
Look at her face.
I could look at her face.
They need closure.
I'm not a monster. I have nothing to do with her disappearance. I have nothing to do with her disappearance at all.
So the whole family's off. Samaya's a liar. Your brother who loves you is just crazy. Right? Everyone's just circling Jonathan.
The last I spoke with my brother, he was all bent out of shape, and he was just like, yeah, I can't believe, I'm disappointed in you and all that there stuff. And I'm like, hold on, bro. You got this all twisted. I didn't do nothing. I have no idea what the hell happened with this young lady, any of that. So
then how did he have all those details?
I don't know how he had all those details. I'm sorry. I don't know how he had any of those details.
You told him.
No.
You know you did.
I did not.
Even after learning that his brother has confessed everything to the police, Jonathan stubbornly refuses to utter a word. In a foolish display, he continues to act confident, thinking he can outwit detectives and the truth and get what he wants.
This is my partner, Detective Code 3. We're almost done. All right, just bear with me. I just want to run through this timeline one more time, just so I can make sure I got all my facts straight. Okay, because I talked to you, I took some notes, but I don't want to inaccurately document this. Okay, we've looked up everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've done our research. It's
when I say we turned over every stone, we have turned over every stone. And we wouldn't call you in here, and we wouldn't talk to you, and we wouldn't give you the benefit of the doubt to tell us the truth if we hadn't turned over every stone. We're not fucking around. We're not lying to you. This isn't TV. We don't make shit up. Okay? Tell us. Tell us.
I don't have anything to tell you guys. I don't. I don't have anything to tell you guys. No, I know, like I told you guys before, I know you guys got a job to do. And I understand. I understand my situation is looking crazy. I get that. But, like, when your facts come back, all of it is going to point in different ways. It's not going to point to me.
Which facts?
Who do you think it's going to point to?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm talking about what we have at hand. You guys are homicide detectives. We're talking about my niece being gone. That has nothing to do with me at all.
I think it has everything to do with you.
Slowly but surely, every fact has come back to you. When we came out to your house on the 30th, we asked you for DNA because we wanted to test it against that kit she had in March. Okay, those things take forever to test. We put a rush on it. Okay? We tested it against yours. And the dude across the street. Came back to both of you. His and yours.
There's no way, man. I'm telling you. There's no way.
I'm not bullshitting you, man.
I feel kind of bullshitted, bro, because there is no way that DNA would come back to me. Period.
How did it get there?
I have no idea.
Did you?
I have no idea at all. I've never had any sexual contact with any of these girls. I never got ever inappropriate with them. And I mean, it's one time that I call Samaya a hoe. It was like, whatever. And that was it. And she flipped the hell out. That was the only time that I've ever called any of them out of their name, let alone be inappropriate with them. So when I'm telling you, you saying the DNA came back with me and him, that is just way hell no.
I'm going to ask you a few.
Criminals like Jonathan often find themselves torn between the weight of their guilt and the fear of facing justice. In the safety of a close relationship, they may feel more in control, believing that a family member's loyalty will shield them from the full force of the law.
Questions, and these may sound very bizarre and out of left field. Okay, so don't be offended by this. Have you ever worn her underwear?
No.
Have you ever jerked off into her underwear?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Your wife, she's a lot taller than her. She weighs a lot more. I'm not saying she's overweight, but she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Does your wife and her share underwear?
No. No, my wife would never wear,
And you would never wear your niece's panties?
No, never.
Okay. Would they even fit?
I couldn't tell you. She's real skinny, so the last I checked that.
Do you see where we're going with this?
I do.
At the end of the day, there is no reason your DNA, you're the only person that can have your DNA. There's no reason your DNA should be anywhere inside her underwear. Period.
Do you know what dropout is?
No.
It's where you have semen inside a woman's vagina and gravity kind of drops out. Sometimes even if you use a condom, you take it off and it still comes in there, okay? Sometimes it's on your fingers, but it's called dropout. Ends of the underwear. It's there.
Yeah, I get it, but it's not mine, man.
It is yours.
No.
That's the problem. The reality is the fact that you're going to deny it.
Because it's the truth.
It's not the truth.
Yeah, man. So
and it's not even just regular DNA. It's not like I just touched him and my DNA's on there. It is DNA from you that's on her underwear. And you just told me there's no possible way, with the questions he asked you, that your DNA should be inside of her underwear. Period. 100%.
100%.
Well, guess what it is? And I'm serious, honest to God. God is my witness. I will come in here, put a Bible on this table, and put my hand and swear. The fact is, your DNA is inside her underwear. This is your opportunity to get on the front side of this as opposed to the back side of this.
Explain what went wrong. Explain what happened. And we can work through it.
Dude, I have nothing to explain. There's nothing that went wrong. It's nothing that done.
And out of the blue, your brother's just going to call us up and tell us his story.
What the f going on with my brother, dude? I don't. And I don't.
Well, we're going through and we're checking off boxes. All right. DNA. Check. Got it. Confirms what we didn't know, but it confirms it.
All right. I'm done with it. Let's go.
Huh?
So you guys charging me?
No, you're getting charged with a case.
What case is that?
A sex case. We'll let you know in just a second.
Jonathan, is there anything else you'd like to say?
There's nothing else I would like to say.
Okay. All right. Because I just want to give you every opportunity. If you don't have anything else you want to share or come clean with, then at this point I'm going to place you under arrest for sexual battery. It's a first-degree felony, and that is in regards to Samaya Sawyer. Okay? So if you'll stand up and turn around and face the wall, place your hands behind your back. That's okay. Face to face.
Put them like they're praying.
Yeah,
like you're praying.
just like that.
Until the very end of the interrogation, Jonathan steadfastly refuses to confess. But let's revisit how Jonathan planned to dispose of the body. Reports suggest he might have dismembered Iyanna's remains, chopping her into pieces and dumping them in a landfill. The police couldn't find Iyanna's body, only discovering a bag containing some of her belongings, including her Victoria's Secret underwear and what was believed to be her DNA. In a further disturbing development, the 9mm handgun used in the crime was later found in Jonathan's truck. Alongside the gun were more Victoria's Secret underwear and bloodstains, tying him even more closely to the brutal act. Now we turn to the court trial, where the testimonies are truly heart-wrenching. Prepare to hear accounts that reveal the deep emotional scars left by Jonathan's horrific actions. These statements bring the raw pain and anguish of the victims' families into stark focus, offering a glimpse into the devastating impact of his crimes.
Did you learn that the relationship between IS and the defendant was not an appropriate one?
Yes, ma'am.
And would IS confide things into you?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, did you observe things inappropriate between IS and the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Were those observations made at the defendant's home?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we had just talked about the fact that you would see your sister when your aunt was not home, sleep in the bed with the defendant. Now, did you also observe other inappropriate things that the defendant did with your sister from your own eyes?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll talk about the couch situation last, but tell me about first what you observed through this time frame.
Yes, ma'am. He would grope her in various areas, or like kiss her neck or her lips in like an inappropriate way.
So you would see the defendant kiss her lips, being her mouth?
Yes.
And kiss her neck?
Yes.
And then you say grope her?
Yes.
Everyone has a different definition, so what does that mean to you?
To touch inappropriately or in a sexual manner.
And when you say touch, would that be on IS?
Correct.
Or would that be the defendant touching IS?
Yes, ma'am.
And where would he touch IS? We know obviously the mouth.
Yeah.
You've told me about the mouth. You told me about the neck.
Her butt, her waist, her chest.
Now, was there a time frame that you saw anything else inappropriate between your sister and the defendant?
Yes.
Can you please tell us what happened?
Yes. I was on one end of the couch, sleep, and IS and the defendant were on another, having a sexual encounter, and I could hear and feel the couch move.
And so just to be clear, was it dark in the room?
Yes.
Did you ever open your eyes?
No.
Could you hear sounds?
Yes.
Could you hear sounds of more than one person?
Yes.
Could you identify who those individuals were?
Yes, ma'am.
And who were they?
The defendant and IS.
Were you aware prior to what happened on this particular day that something inappropriate was happening between IS and the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the defendant ever tell you why he liked to talk to you and IS by Snapchat?
The messages erased.
In fact, did the defendant tell you to not save your messages?
Yes, ma'am.
And did your sister tell you who was the father of the baby?
Yes.
Who?
The defendant.
And what did the defendant do to you while you were on the couch?
He was touching me.
I know it's hard, I know, but we gotta have you speak up because we just all need to make sure we know what you're saying, okay? I know it's hard.
He was touching me.
Okay. When you say touching me, I know I have to ask the difficult questions. I apologize again. When you say touching me, what is the defendant touching you with?
His genitals.
Did you ever go to your mom and tell her?
No.
Were you, in fact, the one that got confronted about it?
Yes.
And was that because your mom had found something?
Yes.
And based upon that, did your mom then confront you?
Yes.
Had your mom not found something and had not confronted you, would you have told?
No.
Were you afraid to tell anything?
Yes.
So you did not freely tell this information, did you?
No, I didn't.
Were you also protecting your sister?
Yes.
And why?
I thought she was going with my grandma, and I wanted to keep our friendship.
Did you think if you told about this that your sister would be mad at you?
Yeah.
And did you want to keep her secret from the world?
Yeah.
If you could?
Yeah.
You cannot tell us anything that you ever witnessed or suspected outside of those allegations that you questioned your nieces about that would be considered inappropriate behavior between your nieces, ISS or IS, and Mr. Quilles, correct?
In hindsight, as opposed to with all the new information, I can sit back and say, okay, well, that was strange, to cooking my niece a meal every time, especially knowing that she was also pregnant at the same time that I was pregnant. At that time, no, but afterwards, having over 4.5, almost 5 years, to sit back and think in hindsight, yes, I will say that that was extremely strange.
When I realized, as when I walked into, I saw him hugging her, and he wasn't hugging her like you would a buddy, a pal, or a niece or nephew. He was hugging her like you would your spouse, your mate, or someone you was in love with. When I walked out and I seen him, he was hugging her. He jumped. I startled him.
The trial began on September 14th, 2023, marking the start of a pivotal chapter in the case. During this period, detectives orchestrated a strategic move by convincing some of the inmates where Jonathan was being held to engage in conversation with him. One of these inmates was wired with a hidden microphone to record their interactions. In a shocking confession, Jonathan admitted to killing Iana, claiming he had no other choice but to end her life. These incriminating statements were later presented as crucial testimonies in court, adding another layer to the trove of evidence against him. On September 21st, the jury reached the verdict after less than 1 hour of deliberation. Jonathan was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder and sexual battery. On October 2nd, 2023, he was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences. He will also be designated as a sexual predator.
They're both dead.
What?
Yeah. So now we really need to talk. Okay?
How did they die?
They were murdered.
Tragedy struck on July 18, 2018, when 52-year-old Cynthia Stack and her 22-year-old son Sean were found shot to death in their Orlando, Florida apartment.
He said he shot the lady and the kid.
And the kid, okay.
He told me if I say anything that he'll kill me too.
And this is after you knew he shot him.
Yes.
The suspect being interrogated here, Amelia Bassoon, pins the blame on her husband, Joshua Ramsamy, for the murders, unaware that Joshua is just as quick to shift the blame back onto her.
She gave him $10,000 to what?
I have no idea. And from my understanding...
What do you think she gave him $10,000 for?
To kill him.
The detectives were shocked to uncover the twisted secret of this killer duo. But can the detectives untangle the sinister duo's web of lies and extract a confession? Or will the couple's manipulative blame game allow them to slip through the cracks of justice? Especially with an unexpected twist just around the corner.
So I did meet up with Josh, and he did give me $1,000.
Okay.
And I never spoke back to him.
Amelia, a banker at Chase, defrauded her elderly client, Jerry Stack, Cynthia Stack's father, by drafting 2 $25,000 checks from his account, payable to her underage son. Joshua then deposited the $50,000 into 2 accounts at Bank of America. Cynthia Stack began looking into the suspicious activity in her father's account, but days later, in a tragic turn of events, she and her son were found dead in her apartment. The couple is quickly interrogated, with detectives questioning the wife in one room and her husband in another.
Again, make sure I understand you right. You don't know anybody in Gerald's family?
No.
Okay. Are we going to see any phone records of you contacting anybody in Gerald's family?
No, not that I know of.
Is it? Well, yeah, let's see. Is it possible? Because if it is, it's we can talk about it.
I mean, unless Amelia used my phone, then no.
So if it was Amelia used your phone?
Yeah.
Why would she have to use your phone to contact them?
I have no idea. Which I know she had my phone for a little bit on Saturday. I mean, sometimes, I leave my phone inside the house while I do yard work or work on my car.
But if she had access to her phone?
Yes.
So I guess I'm trying to... Now, again, is this something where we want to say that... do we want to... Josh, listen.
Mm-hmm.
We're here for something very, very serious, okay?
Okay.
And you have to understand something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Your answers just aren't making any sense, all right? We've been doing this for a little bit. We know... We've been doing this for a while, okay?
Okay.
You seem like a very good guy. The little bit I'm talking to you, you're respectful and you're nice. And you got to understand, sometimes we have more answers than you know.
Yeah.
All right? We've asked you questions to see where you're at, okay? If there's anything that you think we need to know, I mean, now's the time to tell us, okay? There's probably a little bit more to this story, the whole thing. $50,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay? And, you have to be wondering why I'm asking about that. See, that's the funny thing. You haven't asked me yet. Like, why am I asking about that, right? There's a lot going on here, okay? And I need to understand from you where you were at, okay, in this whole thing. And you gotta understand that right now, you being honest with us is the best thing in the world, okay? We're your best friends here, okay?
Okay.
You have to be able to explain your actions and what you did. And if we can't understand that, then it looks really bad.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's walk through this a little bit, okay? What are we missing?
Nothing that I know of. I mean, told you guys where I was, what I was doing. I mean, you could check our phone records too. We've been fighting for a long time.
Well, explain this to me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How is it that you wound up at Cynthia's house, Cynthia's apartment over on Jefferson? Because I have eyewitnesses that put you there.
That I ended up there?
You're very... Listen, let's... You have kind of a distinct look. You understand what I'm saying? And you have a distinct car. Well, not a distinct car. I should take that back. But I think it's telling that you said it was maroon. All right, because that's an eyewitness describes it as a maroon Nissan Altima with a guy that's your height, hair parted, 2 earrings, everything. You're there. Okay, I have no question about that. All right. So what we're trying to understand is why you were there. Why were you at Cynthia's place? And again,
I was never at her place.
Okay. All right.
And I don't even know where she, like I said, I don't know anything about Gerald's family. Nothing.
And you were never at his house either?
No.
Joshua flatly denies being at Cynthia's apartment, unaware that detectives are already onto his lie. What he reveals next, however, is a twist no one saw coming.
You know we were there when you went there with the notary. We have that document.
Yeah, well, I never physically met him.
Okay, you were in his house. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But Cynthia, I was never at her house.
Listen to me. You have to understand something, okay? I'm sure you're probably scared right now, all right? Because you're not somebody that gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? You have to understand, like I said, there's 2 sides to every story. All right? The eyewitness has no reason to lie.
Correct.
Okay? And there's no point in that, okay? So, you were there. Well, I need to know why you were there. You understand what I'm saying? If there's some innocent reason, I need to know. But I need to know why. So, why did you go there? Did you go there to tell them that you were going to pay him back?
No, okay. Can we clear this whole thing out?
What's up?
Okay. So, Amelia was freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I did chuck my gun over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Okay. Tell me about that.
She sent somebody, I don't know who she sent, to go to either talk to them. I don't know if it was the same day or same night, but after that I went to Alchemy and talked,
Who did she send? Wait a minute, hold on. So you were there. Was somebody else with you?
No, I was by myself.
So after you left, she sent somebody else over there?
I don't know. Because I know she was saying before, like,
What day were you there?
That was on Tuesday. I went there at 3:30 on Tuesday to talk to her.
3:30 in the afternoon?
Mm-hmm. Or 4 o'clock.
And how long did you stay for?
I mean, maybe... I honestly don't remember.
It was quite a period of time.
Yeah.
Why were you there so long?
Just to talk to her, just to see how...
Did you go inside?
Yeah, I actually sat down and talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Who's her?
To the lady, Cynthia.
Was anybody else in the house?
I think the same kid, Sean.
And how did the conversation go?
And I told her I found out about it. I talked to her, and then I guess I left maybe, I don't know, right before I went to 11 something, right before I went to Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, that was it.
So, if I'm understanding you right, you're saying Amelia is the one that talked to somebody to take care of them?
Yeah, and I don't
Why?
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, how do you know that?
Well, there was a kid that came to our house.
What's his name?
Jay something. I don't know his phone. I've seen him once at my house, and that was it. And that was for Amelia's birthday party.
Okay.
And she told me, how she's gonna talk to him to talk to her, to stay away from her. And I was like, it's not making sense, you know. Like, what's going on, or whatever. And then I went there, talked to the lady, talked to her son, you know.
How do you find this guy?
Who? Find who?
This person that she talked to.
Oh, how do you find him? I can give you, I think I have his phone number.
Okay.
It's some guy that, I know his name is Jay Prasad or something like that.
Okay. And
because
explain this to me. How does this go? Okay, so I'm trying to understand this. So Amelia's so scared about this and worried about this, and you explain to me. So who kept on calling her and wouldn't leave her alone?
I think it was the same Cynthia lady. I didn't ask any questions. She said, somebody keeps calling me. She said one of Gerald's families. I said, okay, that's fine. Maybe it's Gerald's son, because Gerald's son stole money from her.
I heard about that, yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine. But then I think then some kid came to our house like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, what's going on? And I know she gave him some money or something like that. And then he texted me about money. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
She gave him $10,000 to what?
I have no idea. And from my understanding...
What do you think she gave him $10,000 for?
To kill him or something. I don't know.
In a desperate attempt to save himself, Joshua shifts all blame to his wife, claiming she hired someone to commit the murders, hoping this might reduce his role as an accessory. But he doesn't realize that detectives have already heard the truth from the alleged hitman, Jay Prasad.
She calls me on Snapchat, and she's like, I told you last night I needed you to find a guy to scare the woman. So I'm like, wait. So now I remember some things, and I'm like trying to figure out some stuff. So then that's when she further explained to me, she's like, I'm gonna go to jail on Monday, so I need to, send her a message, scare her or something. And that's kind of when I was like, whoa.
Okay.
What did she get into,
Okay.
And that's when now I'm knowing everything. Like when she's telling me to look for the people, they can't miss her, they, let me know when you're ready. I have the address. They can't miss her. She's a fat white woman. Something like that.
So she said she had the address. Did she ever give you the address?
No.
Okay. What was she offering you for this?
She said that how she has money and she just wants to get rid of this problem. She just has money to pay. And I was like, this is not a movie that, just because you have money, things can just disappear like that,
How much money did she say she had to give you?
She didn't tell me an amount. She just said, I have money.
Again, I think what we're seeing is two people that have made some bad decisions. Okay. Now, are you saying that Jay was the one who did this?
I don't know.
You don't know?
All I know is the guy that confronted me that day on that Tuesday night in that apartment complex really resembled the guy that was in his car that night.
Yeah, I thought you said Jay was with him that night when you were in the apartment complex?
No, I didn't say that.
So Jay wasn't with him?
Yeah. That guy was by himself. He said they were watching me.
All right.
Is it your understanding when you met with Jay over there and these pills and these money was exchanged that it was for him taking care of this situation?
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew that.
Yeah, I knew that.
But you're saying that it was Amelia that was giving him this, but the pills are yours.
Yeah, the pills are mine. I told him. He told me, hey, he had something happen. He said he was on medication. He ran out. I said, I don't use mine. I haven't used mine for X amount of months.
So what did you, when you gave him the pills and that money that night in the parking lot, what did you expect to happen after that?
I expected he was going to get some type of money back from everything.
Once detectives emphasize the seriousness of the situation to Jay, he quickly realizes it's better to save himself as much as he can and comes forward with the truth.
The fact of the matter is, these two people that she wanted you to go hire somebody to go scare, they're dead. Yeah. Okay? So you understand how important we are now, right?
Not just dead, they were murdered.
Murdered.
Okay.
Okay. So anything that we're asking you, we may already know the answers to, okay? And we just need you to be honest with us because, listen, taking some money to go flip for dope or whatever the hell it is, that's a hell of a stretch to homicide. Two homicides. You understand what I'm saying? Not just one, two.
I understand.
Okay? So just, let's get it out. If you did some stuff that you weren't supposed to do, I'm not too worried about it. I told you that, okay? But we need to know...
You're walking out of this car.
Yeah, we're not... Yeah.
Unless you tell us that you're the one that did it.
Yeah.
Once Amelia gave herself up and said that she's going to jail on Monday, it sunk in on me on Friday. I said, she did some old people wrong like this. She has some money. Let me get a little something out of it.
Okay.
I'm paying bills. It's hard out here.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
really
you're
hard.
busting
I
your ass.
can't even pay my phone bill, man.
Yeah. So it's tough times. Yep.
So I said, I gotta show, if I do talk to someone, I gotta have, from my past experience, I gotta show good, faith. I gotta at least have some kind of money when I'm talking to them, like, hey, show that I'm serious or something, maybe if I go find someone. So I did meet up with Josh and he did give me $1,000.
Okay.
And I never spoke back to them. And I have text messages to show and prove where she's like, can't believe you did me like that.
We've seen him. So that's why we kind of figured that that's what happened.
Where did you meet up with Josh?
It was a CVS, I believe.
It was a CVS? And he gave you $1,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think he kind of took your money and took off?
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like.
I think I have a very clear picture of what happened now.
Yeah. He scammed you.
Listen, I'll be honest with you guys. This is what I think happened. I think you guys were trying to get out of this situation. That's one way you saw to do it. He scammed you out of money. And at that point, you had no choice but to go over there and kill these two people. So, I mean, that's exactly applying the fact that I've done this job for 27 years and just common sense to it, and the whole story about you tossing the gun in Daytona, all of that. That's all it comes back to. And I think anybody listening to this story will.
There's a certain irony in scammers being scammed, and it might have been a satisfying twist, if only it hadn't come at such a tragic cost.
Before we do, I always ask people this. Is there anything... Okay, we're going to check... We need to check her TD account with her dad, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's one thing that we can check and verify.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Tell us what else we can check.
I just bought a whole bunch of appliances for the house.
Okay, we know you did that, and she's admitting that we know you guys were at the Walgreens. We don't even have to look at the video because you both are saying that. We know that, but what else? What else can we of what you're telling us?
All I know is at 11 something, I called Amelia's phone. She didn't answer.
Okay, we know that happened.
I said, okay, that's fine. I said, all right. I turned my phone off. I'm like, all right, I'll just keep to myself.
So I probably asked you this already, Josh, but when did you hear about this murder, about these people being killed?
Maybe, I think Wednesday, I didn't even really, probably Thursday.
Okay, did you see their pictures or figure out who they were?
I saw the pictures and I was like, holy shit.
And what did you think?
I was like, what the hell is going on?
Okay, did you ask your wife about what happened?
I didn't ask her anything.
Why not? I mean, to me, that would seem like a natural thing.
I asked her, hey, did you talk to Cynthia? And she didn't answer me. And she said, oh, she's supposed to call me on Friday. Okay. And that's what she said. And I know she talked to Cynthia on the phone.
Did it ever come up that Jay Prasad had gone over there and killed them? Did you ever talk with your wife about
I didn't.
Did you and your wife ever talk about who may have killed these two people?
No. I told her, I remember I said, you talked to Jay. Did he talk back to you? Has Jay talked back to you? And I told her I blocked him on Snapchat. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I said, you could check my phone. I have him blocked on Snapchat. I think she still has him as a friend, so I don't know if they've talked after that or anything like that. I just know for me, I blocked him. And I haven't talked back to him.
Did you ever tell your wife that you killed these two people, and if she said anything, you would kill her?
No.
And her whole family?
No.
Joshua clings to his improbable story, while his wife offers a conflicting account, giving the detective every opportunity to play them against each other.
Are you scared of Josh?
No.
If he did something wrong that put your son and your son's future and your future in jeopardy, would you tell us about it?
Of course.
Okay.
Did Josh put you up to this?
No.
Well, this is the stuff we need to know. Listen, if he put you up to it, he put you up to it. That's okay. We need to know these things, though. Again, like Detective Moretti said, I think you're kind of at this crossroads right now, okay? You've got Josh, who you probably love, and he's your husband, okay? But you also have Julian. And you got to picture that little boy. You got to picture not being able to watch him grow up. Think about that for a second. Think about being put somewhere very far away from him, and the only way you're going to have contact with him is through letters. You're going to get pictures in jail, in prison, of your little boy growing up. That's your future. He's going to grow up with his grandparents, maybe? Who knows? Maybe Matthew's grandparents, maybe Matthew's parents, maybe somebody else will try and take him away from them. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. No, we're not saying we're going to take your kids away from you, okay? Now's the time, all right? So you got to start thinking long and hard who you have loyalty to. If Josh screwed up, he screwed up. That's not on you. But anything you know about that, we need to know about. He messed this up. He did this. He did this. And I don't want to go in there and have him tell me that you told him to go do it. You understand this? This whole thing. I'm talking about everything. We can't do this anymore. Now's the time. Tell us what he did. So you can look at your son and say, I did the right thing in the end.
Like Jay, Amelia is made aware of the severity of the situation, and she too decides to come clean to protect herself.
They're both dead.
What?
Yeah. They're dead. So now we really need to talk. Okay?
How did they die?
They were murdered. Think about the ramifications about being involved in a first-degree murder.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. Let's start not from the fraud, but when he decided he was going over there, what happened?
Well, she called me before, but she started calling me, and then he wanted to know why she was contacting me, what she was calling me about. So I let her know she wanted to know. She went with her dad to the bank, and she looked at the transaction history, and she wanted to know what the checks were. So I can't tell her much. And then he's over my shoulder listening to my conversations with her. And he's just like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And I was like, let me talk to her, because she told me that you're young, that if you made a mistake, I'll work with you. And I told him that. And he's just like, you're stupid. Like, you're stupid to believe her. And I'm just like, you're stupid for this whole situation. I would have never been in this situation if you didn't make me do what I'm doing. Let me talk to her. Like, let me tell her the truth. Let me tell her that I put these checks in my son's name, and that if she needs you to pay the money back, we'll give her the money. Money is a monetary thing. We can give it back to her. Especially she's saying that she'll work with me. She understands this, I'm young. She says she's been through the same situation before. He just wasn't having it. He didn't want me to talk to her. He didn't want me to contact her.
And who are we talking about, her?
The guy's daughter.
You know her name?
Cindy. She's on the call her Cindy.
And he knew who Cindy was?
Only because of the conversations that me and her were having.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So he took her phone number, and he called her. And I don't know the severity of their conversation, but the next day he went and he bought a gun. Then that's another reason why we fought as well, because why are you buying? Because he shot himself in the leg recently in December. So I just don't want a gun around me. I don't want it in my house. I don't want it nowhere. I let her know that, Friday, if you want to give me a call back, I'll let you know the severity of the situation and kind of what's going on with the checks. I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. He called out of work. And he said that I'm going to take care of things.
Amelia's version led detectives to understand the complexity of the case better. The confession that came next from her was nothing short of shocking.
I mean, everything's as normal for me because I don't know the severity of what's going on or the situation.
So he buys this gun within a day and then destroys it the next, in about 24 hours, he's bought it and destroyed it.
He's destroying it in process, I'm guessing.
Where did you buy it at?
I have no clue. I think he bought it at like a pawn shop.
Okay. When did you become aware that he was involved in the murder?
Well, I didn't know what happened. I just stopped hearing from her. And then when I said something about, can I call her? He told me no. And then he got really mad at me, and he was like, if you say something, I'm going to kill you.
Okay, he's not going to say that unless he told you about the murder. That's the part that's so when did he tell you about the murder? Sweetie, you got to let this go. You can't, anything you hold back is not going to look good. You've got to just tell it. It hurts. It's scary. I understand that. But not talking is worse for you than talking. You've got to talk. Let me ask you a question. Were you there when he killed him?
No.
Then why are you not talking? Who cares what he did?
Because I'm scared.
I'm telling you, you need to be scared about not telling the full truth.
If I talk, I'm not going to jail for this?
You're not going to. You're going to jail for the fraud.
No, yeah. Okay, fine.
Were you there? Did you? Let me ask you. Let's go back to that question.
Okay.
When did he tell you that he killed him?
He didn't tell me he killed him. He said I handled the situation. Did he
describe how, what?
He never physically said, like, what he did or if anything was done.
Did he say he shot him?
Well, I'm guessing he had his gun, so.
Don't guess. Did he tell you that he shot him?
Yes.
He said he shot him. Mm-hmm. Where did he go?
Oh, I don't know. He didn't say anything.
But he said he shot him. Yeah. Who did he say he shot?
He said he shot the lady and the kid.
Okay. And then after that's when he put his clothes in a bag and then took the gun and left.
He put everything in like a clear.
So he knew he killed him.
Who?
You knew he killed him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
his defense is going to be, it was your idea. So this is something you need to get out from under this because obviously he ain't gonna do anything but to protect himself.
Of course.
All right. So when did you know he was going to go over there and shoot him?
When I got home for lunch the day before.
The day before, you knew he was going over to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why?
How did you know?
Oh, he told me.
He said, I'm going to go shoot him?
He didn't say that. He said, I'm going to handle the situation.
Okay, but did he mention the word shooting?
No.
Okay, did he have the gun and say, I'm going to go handle the situation? What makes you think he was going over there to shoot him prior to it happening?
Well, I mean, why purchase a gun the day before and then say that you're going over there? That was kind of like where I was confused at.
Very logical thinking.
Yeah.
And so from him buying the gun and what he said, you
put two and two together.
He was going there. Okay, and then after... Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He told me if I say anything that he'll kill me too.
And this is after you knew he shot him.
Yes.
With Amelia's confession secured, the detectives now turn to Joshua, giving him a chance to come clean.
You would kill her?
No.
And her whole family?
No. Never. Never would have said that.
But you and your wife, after you found out that it was Cynthia Stack and Sean Stack that were killed that morning in their apartment, never discussed their murder, who might have done it, and this might come back to you. Did you ever think that?
We talked about that.
What was that conversation? What did you guys talk about yesterday?
I said we're going on a cruise. This is kind of crazy with all the stuff going on right now. I told her, I saw something on the news when I was looking up the situation with the Coy Police Department because I wanted to see if my name was out as far as if reporters or anything got my name because they had my number. And then she told me, it's crazy.
You wanted to talk to her. You tried to talk to her that night. I think you even sat here and said, I tried to call her to tell her what was going on, I think is what you said when you got back in the car and you were vaping. So, you're nodding your head, yeah. So that's not somebody who's having a problem with somebody who doesn't want to talk. You know what that means? That somebody turns their phone off because they don't want people to know where they're at, okay? Listen, I could watch TV too and know if I turn my phone off, they don't know where I am. So that's very easy to explain, okay? So your phone is off. So your phone is off. And then you go and you went over the Alchemy Lounge and you probably got pissed off thinking about it even more. And then you know what? At some point in time, guess what? You go back over there. And you know what? You can shake your head no all you want, but again, it doesn't make sense why. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. You need to sit and think about this, okay? You need to think about it. And this is what people are going to hear, and people are going to go, he's not telling the truth. All right. The fact of the matter is, this Jay guy just didn't come out of nowhere. He came out as somebody that was going to try and sell pills for you and get you money. And I think that what that shows is, that I believe. I'm pretty sure you believe that too. He took your money, and he probably took your money. He took your money with the guise of he was going to buy drugs for you, to sell the drugs for you and give you the money. He was going to take a little cut. That was a lie. Okay. But again,
we paid him to get rid of these two people.
Right, and that's where I come back to. We're right back to square one. Okay. If you paid them to do this, how do you think that makes you? How do you think that makes your hands any less dirty?
It did. I am dirty. I understand that.
You are just as guilty as they are.
Like Jay and Amelia, Joshua finally admits his guilt, likely hoping for a reduced charge if he can convince the detectives he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger.
You've already messed up as much as, and then you're going to let her go down. You really want to take her down with you? What do you have to gain? What are you going to get from taking her down with you? What? What is there to gain? Nothing. Nothing. So again, do you think that just by saying that stuff, it's going to go away?
No.
Okay. Do you expect anybody to believe anything you're saying when everything that we've talked to you about, everything that we've challenged you on, is the only way we've gotten you to tell us anything that's true?
I understand that. But I know that
your whereabouts are unaccounted for. I got news for you. Your whereabouts are unaccounted for at the time of this homicide. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Your phone is off.
Your gun
is missing. Yeah. Not Jay. And I got news for you. Jay is not going to admit to a murder for you.
Josh, I'll give you even more common sense that just occurred to me. Sitting around, what kind of neighborhood do you think that was, having been there for a few hours? What kind of neighborhood is it?
Not the best, I guess.
Yeah, it's a rough neighborhood. You agree with that?
Yeah.
No one kicked in this lady's door. Is she going to open the door to Jay Persad or some 6'5" black guy in the middle of the night? Or is she going to open the door, oh, here's that guy again?
But I never went back there.
Yeah, you did.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, think about that for a second. She's not going to open the door in that neighborhood for someone that she doesn't know. Like you said, you were having a nice conversation with them. You maybe even left it on good terms as far as, I don't know, maybe it didn't leave it on good terms. But when you went back and knocked on the door, they would have had no trouble. Okay, here's a guy who talked. She would have opened the door for you. She wouldn't have opened the door for these guys. And like I said, you were gonna take so many people down with you sticking to that story. Okay, just tell us the truth. Because the thing I'll tell you, I don't know what's going to happen down the road. I don't know what, but I can tell you right now, the people that are going to determine that, they want to see that you were honest about what happened, that you showed remorse. Right now they'll look at a guy who tried to take 2 other people down with him, including his wife, and really do irreparable harm to an innocent 7-year-old.
That's not my goal.
Okay.
That's not my goal.
Tell us the truth about what happened.
The truth is, I went there, I talked to them, I got confronted by that guy in my car that night. I left, went to Alchemy, went to Daytona, came back to our house at between 5:30, 6:30, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Her mom was home, and then.
Josh, will you at least concede in this conversation, again, not being a stupid person, that this looks really bad for you?
It does, and I understand.
Because you're at the scene.
I know.
You have a gun that you claim that you say was stolen from you. Okay, you are unaccounted for. You have your phone off. Okay, all of these things add up. You have an absolute motive too to have these people killed. All those things add up to a circumstantial case for first-degree murder. And your answer to it is, this is her.
Detectives confront Joshua about the gap in his alibi during the murders, pointing out that he cannot account for his whereabouts at the time. His unusually strong reaction to questions about his missing gun raises further suspicion. If someone else had committed the crime, he likely wouldn't be so defensive about its disappearance.
At this point,
I'm not being selfish. My thing is, we've been together for 7 years, and I've done the world and back with this girl regarding her son, herself, with her baby daddy problems, and
she says you're abusive. mentally and physically. I mean, that's the picture she's painting of you, Josh. I hate to burst that bubble for you, but we asked her about that, and she used that as an excuse for some of the things that went on. She said that you are abusive. You threatened to kill her entire family if she talked about this. So that's the picture that she's painting of you.
And that's not me. I mean, that blows my mind.
No.
That blows my mind.
Both of what you have said today blows my mind.
That blows my mind.
But this doesn't look good for you, Josh. But we're going to do our jobs. And just know that.
And I want you guys to.
And that could end up with you going to jail for murder. Because again, there's a lot of things here. I'm not a big believer in coincidences. Neither one of us are. But you think about all those things that you got going against you at this point in this case, that you're there, that you have a gun, that's got missing, you're unaccounted for, you absolutely have a motive. You've already tried to make some half attempt to have these people killed or to regenerate some more money. I mean, there's just a lot of problems. A lot of problems. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. Is there going to be anything on your phone about this case, about this murder, about any chatter about what went on or about paying people?
On July 28, 2018, 10 days after the murders, 28-year-old Joshua Ramsamy was officially arrested and faced 2 counts of first-degree murder with a firearm, while his wife, 25-year-old Amelia Bassoon, was charged as accessory. Amelia was released on bond and later struck a plea deal to testify against Joshua, resulting in her murder charges being dropped and a 3-year prison sentence. A spokesperson from Chase Bank expressed regret over the incident, confirming that the stolen funds were returned to Jerry Stack's account. Amelia was also terminated from her position at the bank.
Soldier to soldier, cop to cop.
Yeah.
Basically, we know you were there.
When you walked over there, what did you first observe?
I stepped over a log and found the remains.
And specifically, when you said remains, what did you see?
Specifically, I found a human skull.
On February 6, 2023, human remains were discovered in a wooded area over 20 miles from Norcross, Georgia. 2 days later, dental records identified the remains as 16-year-old Susana Morales, setting off a shocking chain of events. The following day, a firearm was discovered near the site, and when ballistics were run on it, it linked 22-year-old police officer Miles Bryant to the case.
Okay, can I pat you down just to make sure? What's going on, man? You're good. It's our policy, man. We just, I know how this works. All right.
After his arrest on February 13, 2023, several women came forward accusing Miles of stalking and breaking into their homes.
And I have your back. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like family. You know what I'm saying? We're all family here.
A police officer, trusted to protect them, was arrested for an unthinkably gruesome crime.
I was shocked. I felt like it could have been me because he was the person at my door coming and unscrewing my knob and kicking it down and stuff like that.
This screen grab of a man in military fatigues from October shows the first time Bates says a neighbor's camera recorded him at her door. She says 2 other videos from December show him back there again, covering his face and pulling on the door handle, then again knocking.
On July 26th at approximately 6 p.m., we know that Susana Morales left her home on Santa Ana Drive in Norcross and walked a short distance to the Sterling Glen apartment complex on Indian Trail Road. There, she met with her friend for about 4 hours, and at about 10 o'clock, she began her trek back to her house. We know that between 10 and 10:30 p.m., Susana had an interaction with an individual and ultimately was not seen or heard from again.
Miles Bryant was promptly brought in for questioning.
I just play basketball. Sorry. You get it, man. We've been all over this complex. Oh, man. You Dorville? Yeah. How long you been with them? About 2.5 years now. You like it? Yeah. So, yeah, when she first was when I was talking to the neighborhood team, stuff like that, I didn't really know anything. I don't really get too much watching the news, and my girl used to stay here, literally just moved out, and pretty much it. Yeah. Nothing. What are those neighborhood kids saying? I haven't talked to them in a minute, but when she first was missing, it was like they was just with her, and they was joining on each other, or some crazy stuff. Yeah. I haven't heard anything actually. Like me and my girl was talking about it, stuff like that. It was like it's just weird. They said she was walking home, and then she just, That's what we're just out here asking questions and stuff. Like, how many calls do you get, like, being courteous? None of us are courteous. All right. So, we just got some questions. We got to run over, like, some stuff. It seems like you're courtesy here, so you know kind of things, what's going on.
Well versed in what's happening in the complex.
So you got some time for us to come up to our headquarters and just talk about what you see on a daily basis and stuff like that.
Yeah. That would be today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now? No. I'm actually finna head out.
Where are you going?
I have to go meet my girlfriend and I have to work later.
Okay.
Will I be out by time work? Or
What time? 4? Yeah, it should be. I mean, like I said, we just got some questions that courtesy officer between you and the leasing office. You guys probably get calls all the day, and we're literally talking to everyone here. So we're just trying to document we got no lease, man. We're just trying to document everything. That's all we are.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta come and talk. Can I drive there?
We'll drive you, man.
Yeah, we'll take you up there.
Yeah, you don't gotta waste your gas or anything and all that stuff.
Can I drive? County gas, man. No problem. Can I call my girlfriend later?
We'll call her once we get up there, okay? Right now, we'll just go up there. You got any guns or anything on you right now?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, can I pat you down just to make sure?
What's going on, man?
You're good. It's our policy, man. We just
I know how this road. All right. Yeah, you know how it is. You know that we don't want to get our balls busted with the GDM and everything.
All right. You can get up front seat, all right, man?
Miles Bryant is on his way to questioning, oblivious that his life is about to take a dramatic turn.
So you said you worked at Forsyth?
Yes.
So how long did you work at Forsyth?
Maybe a year.
Okay. You go to school or anything? Like college?
I thought about it, but I want to get working, so.
Okay. So what do you want to do?
Me?
Police department?
I want to get like a crime suppression team, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
like lead it?
Yeah.
Nice.
That probably goes, not lead it, and then probably goes like CID.
Okay.
Detective.
What kind of CID stuff you want to do?
We just have general CID. I don't know. I know it's not breaking up stuff like that.
City agencies do that.
I want to do like maybe like burglary. Mm-hmm. Like that. I hate people who steal.
Yeah.
I like these.
Okay. So I know that your gun was stolen. Do you know if it was located or anything yet?
No, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't run it yet. We probably need to check that, see if it's still. But they would have called you.
Miles Bryant reported the gun stolen the morning after Morales disappeared, but requested that no detective be assigned to investigate the theft. Detective William Merkley notes that it was unusual that Bryant didn't want the gun's disappearance investigated, raising further suspicion.
Did you know her at all, Morales? Nothing? Never saw her like playing basketball or anything with the other kids?
Never. I didn't recognize her at all. That is crazy.
However, Alyssa Marvin has a different perspective to share.
Had you ever had any personal interactions with the defendant before Susanna disappeared?
Yes.
And can you tell us what those are?
So there was one time, there was multiple times he would drive by and, he'll say hello and everything to everyone. And there was one time we were at the pool and it was me and Kelly. Susanna came after, like towards the end before we left, but we were there at the pool and he came with his backpack and he had, a drink with him and he had little shot cups and he had edibles and stuff, and he asked how old I was, and then when I told him my age, he still wanted to talk to me but didn't talk to me because of my age. So he knew not to drink with me, but he wanted to drink with me before he knew my age, but he still offered the edibles. But then that was the interaction I had with him that night. And before we left, I believe it was the same day, we wanted to order pizza because, it's a hot day outside. Someone wants to eat. We wanted to eat and we was going to order pizza. He offered us to give us a ride to get pizza, but we said no because we're underage, you're grown, so we said no to that. We ordered pizza. We went home about our day. That was the one, I could say face-to-face interaction, full conversation.
Miles.
Yes.
This is where we're at, okay? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Your phone records are there. You make 2 phone calls 3 hours after she's last seen on camera. And your gun is found right there as well with your phone, where those 2 phone calls are placed. Help me out.
I understand where this is coming from.
No, I'm saying, I know you did. Just help me out a little bit.
Yeah. No, I don't know what you're thinking, but no.
What would you think?
You think that's something to do?
No, I said, what would you think?
Oh no, I totally, I get that part, but now my heart's beating. It's like, whoa, you know. I get that. That's almost like, hey, you know, stuff like that. But no, I never been like that, you know. I would never do something like that. I was actually on the phone with her, her and my side chick, like that, and I'm talking to them about stuff. That's it.
What's your side chick name?
Avion.
Avion, that's the one that lives.
Austell area.
You getting chased around by your girlfriend and then call your side chick to decompress.
Yeah. And then I talk to my girlfriend and end up meeting stuff like that.
So the phone records put you literally right there, and it's not your personal phone. You call her on your work phone.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
I think my personal phone's dead.
Okay.
But I have both their numbers. I just need to calm down.
It shows you in the woods.
In the woods? I never left my show. I don't think I was in the woods.
Cell phone data placed Miles near the location of Susanna's remains on the night she disappeared. Records also indicated that his phone returned to the area later that morning, about an hour before he reported his firearm stolen.
My DNA, whatever.
We've done that. Soldier to soldier, cop to cop.
Yeah.
I told you I've looked into Susanna.
Yeah.
I know what kind of friend she had. I know what she did, and I know how she was. Basically, we know you were there, but we need to figure out why and what happened. I don't think you're a bad guy. I don't. You weren't brought up here in handcuffs or anything.
Yeah, no.
So, and I have your back. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like family. You know what I'm saying? We're all family here. I gotta figure out what happened.
Yeah.
Because there's no arguing if you were there, if you weren't, we know you were.
Right.
So we have to, I know that it was more than you were talking to your girlfriend. There was movement around there, so that's what we have to cover right now, okay? Tell me what happened, please.
I don't know. I literally was with my girlfriend, on the phone with my girlfriend, and that's it.
Miles' ex-girlfriend, Evian Smear, contradicts his story of that night and points out suspicious scratches on his truck. But then, Dr. Carol Terry's testimony regarding the autopsy leaves more questions than answers.
In this case, I called the cause of death undetermined due to decomposition with skeletonization. I believe if I had had the intact body, I could have come up with a specific cause of death, but I'm limited based on what I have. The body is too decomposed. All I have is a skeleton. Because the circumstances, again, young female, this isolated area where it's far removed from where she was last known to be alive, and no personal effects, no clothing. As a medical examiner with 30 years of experience, if I were to see an intact individual at this type of a scene, first thing I'm going to think of is some type of homicidal violence, specifically some type of asphyxial type component, strangulation, suffocation, chest compression, things of that nature. Because if you have a nude individual, nude or partially nude, that better be, as a medical examiner, that better be one of the first things you're thinking about.
Though the autopsy couldn't definitively prove assault, Miles' actions were sexually motivated. In addition, Detective Angela Carter's findings from Miles' search history were impossible to ignore.
I found photographs of him looking at the media coverage of Susanna that had the pictures attached to them.
All right, now 396. What are we looking for here?
How are you ID'd by dental records?
And when did this search occur?
February 9th, 2023 at 4:04 a.m. UTC time, which would be February 8th, 2023 at 11:04 p.m.
All right. How long after the defendant searched for the camera footage from the Georgia Department of Transportation, and I'll try to put them both on the screen here, did he search for how was somebody identified by dental records?
A little over 10 minutes later.
And then lastly, it says record number 404. What is that search?
Gwinnett County teen found.
As evidence mounted against Miles, a shocking twist emerged when his fellow inmate, Michael Jones, testified about a brief interaction they had in prison.
Okay, and what conversation did you have with him about some of the details of what was contained in the discovery?
After a few days, after he read it, looked over it, he come back out and he said, "Well, I don't think I'm not going to get charged for this. They ain't got nothing against me. There's no. It says right here plain. He says it says right here plain. There's no blood, no semen, no nothing. They can't. They ain't got nothing against me."
Miles, I'm getting frustrated because I feel like you think I'm lying to you.
No, I believe. Really.
Because maybe I am wrong about you. Maybe I'm wrong. You also tried to get into a girl's apartment off Annistown. You didn't? Oh, your phone was just casually there too?
No, they had a whole investigation about that. I was there, but I didn't try to break in her apartment. She lied.
So what was you trying to do?
I was talking to her. Like we was free. Like
You didn't try to open her door?
Me and my sergeant.
You didn't answer my question. You didn't try to open her door?
Yes.
Okay, I know. Why was you hiding your head?
It was raining.
Oh, it was raining. Where was your PC? You was wearing a gray jacket.
Yeah, because
that was a violation of 6.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Because you didn't want anyone to see your hat because it has your name on the back of your head. Okay?
No, I didn't have a PC on, I swear.
I know, exactly. Yeah. Because you didn't want people to see your name.
No.
Yes.
She knew exactly where I was. She knew where I was.
She didn't want you there.
She didn't ever tell me that. She never told me that.
Did she invite you over?
No.
You didn't. So you just show up to this girl's apartment and try to break in. That's how it looks, right?
Yeah.
So casually, you're just the victim in all this. You just casually be in all these like victim situations where you're just casually in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what you're telling me.
No, my sergeant did a whole investigation.
Miles, you gotta just take a minute, take a breath. You gotta stop.
Put me as a suspect in this.
It's okay. Take a breath. Take a deep breath. We need your help. We want to give this family closure.
I understand that.
Your gun's there. Your phone puts you in the woods. What can we give this family?
You're not a bad person, Miles. This is not just an effect on you, this is an effect on all officers everywhere.
I know, I'm not, it's not me. It's not me.
If you were me, what would you do?
I understand it, I don't know.
Tell me, what would you do? Tell me.
Investigate some more stuff like that, I don't know.
Like what?
I know you did your thing, you did your due diligence. It's not, nothing to do with that part. You can ask my girlfriend, nobody was with me. When she was with me, even before all that nobody was with me.
How do you explain your truck being parked in front of Susanna's house a month after she went missing?
What you mean?
So do you guys use Vigilant? You know what Vigilant is? Mm-hmm. So it compiles, you got LPR cars?
Yeah.
So it takes every LPR car, and it takes all the LPR cars from like the repo people, and it puts it into Vigilant, and we can research that. So doing our due diligence, your truck is sitting outside Susanna's house.
Where does she live? I sit outside her house. Where does she live? Can you show me my truck?
Yeah, sure can. No, I can't. It's dead. Pretty sure I took a picture of it though.
Like just sitting there? I don't even know where she lives. God.
It's not a question about if it's you or not, because we already know that.
No.
But listen, it's a question about what happened, okay?
Sitting there.
It's a question about if you are a cold-blooded killer or if you made a mistake. That's literally where we're at right now.
Miles is in deep denial, but the detectives, determined to extract a confession, escalate their approach by sending in more aggressive and confrontational interrogators.
Because you know you killed her that night.
No.
So, yes, the evidence is yes.
No, I did not kill her, and it wasn't nothing.
So then did you dump her body there?
No.
Did somebody else kill her?
I don't know. It had to. It wasn't me.
Well, you have some sort of part in it. There's no other way you could have all this on this incident. There's no other way unless you have a part in it.
I have no part in it.
It's impossible.
It's a bold-faced lie.
It's impossible. So you're telling me right here, you think that a jury's going to believe you when your gun is there, your phone is there, your truck is in front of a house a month later, 3 days after the incident, you're calling her sister to find out what they know? Do you think a jury's going to believe that?
No.
Especially the jury now.
Yeah.
Juries hate cops.
Yeah. The truck incident, was it moving? I don't remember ever stopping and looking at somebody's house.
It was stopped. You know, it's probably the same thing where, you know, you found the sign of the missing person and you just randomly call her sister to find out what she knows or what she can tell you, and now you just randomly went out and parked in front of her house to see if maybe you could be the superstar who finds her walking down the street and return her home?
No, none of that. No.
Well, then what connection do you have with her address?
Nothing. If it's a neighborhood, I drove around the entire neighborhood. It's not.
Why?
What you mean?
Why would you drive around her neighborhood?
I drive around. I told them I drive around everywhere, but not for her. I was having just sitting in front of her address.
So here's the thing. Here's the way those LPRs work.
Yeah.
Because it's not from a police car. Police cars, those run all the time.
Right.
The repo people don't turn them on the street. They're going through parking lots, apartment complexes, neighborhoods. They're looking for repo cars. That's where we get most of our data. So you were parked.
I couldn't be parked.
You said it yourself earlier, the data doesn't lie. The data doesn't lie that your phone's there. The data doesn't lie that your gun is there where her body's found. The data doesn't lie your truck is sitting outside of her house. The DNA sure ain't gonna lie, because that lasts forever.
Yeah. It can't, I could not be, that's the one that's frustrating me. Outside her house sitting there, it couldn't be.
That flusters you? That's what's frustrating you?
No, I'm just saying that's the part.
Or is that one of the many things that are a coincidence that night?
Is that what you think you weren't gonna get caught on?
No. What? Call him. They got nothing to do with this.
The detectives conclude their interrogation without securing a confession from Miles. Susanna's family attorney, Alex Northover, states that the Doraville police failed to take timely corrective action.
There were multiple indications that this individual presented a danger. There was a previous allegation of stalking.
Alex Northover asserts that the city of Doraville should be held accountable, adding that he communicated with officials during the ongoing criminal and civil investigations.
Take responsibility for their role in this tragic incident and take measures to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
He suggests it's time to reform the process of recruiting new officers.
Increased hiring, screening procedures, adequate training.
Yet more startling revelations are on the horizon.
While he was on duty and in uniform, asked her to utilize her cell phone because he needed to log into his bank. And instead of doing so, he accessed her videos and sent himself videos of conducting activity on her phone. Is a danger to women in this community. He is has not upheld the oath that he took to protect and serve both the citizens of Doraville and the state of Georgia.
The jury viewed police body cam footage documenting Miles' interaction with the girl who returned home after being reported missing by her family in May 2022.
Something was happening to you. We're doing a rape or a missing person, then we find your body out there in the woods. Then what? Because I know you're probably strong and you're smart and you know say no to strangers and stuff like that. But nowadays people don't care. People are my size, big, and just come snatch you up. You can scream, you can shout all you want, and they'll throw you in the back of the van and go take you, and your parents will never see you again.
This badge is supposed to stand for something. It's supposed to stand for the obligation somebody takes to serve and to protect their community. Every officer takes that sworn statement. It's on the side of police cars. They are to serve and to protect. That flag, the United States flag, means something. When somebody in the National Guard takes an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and the laws of our country and the laws of the state of Georgia, it means something. But to the defendant, it meant nothing. He took those oaths, and as you've seen through the trial, violated them time and time again. He didn't serve, he didn't protect, he abused. He took his power, he took his badge, and he used that to violate the law. He used that to murder. He is a cop turned killer.
Do you personally, Miles Bryant, want to testify or not?
No, ma'am.
The defendant has freely and voluntarily decided not to testify with a complete understanding of his rights. Has the jury reached a verdict? Okay, if you'll hand it to my bailiff. State of Georgia versus Miles Bryant. Indictment number 24B00156-4. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 3, kidnapping. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 4, criminal attempt to commit. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Count 5, false report of a crime. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
It took just over 5 hours to reach a verdict, a moment Susana Morales' family had been waiting for nearly 2 years.
All we ever wanted was justice for what happened to her. I mean, nothing will ever bring her back to this day. I still hope that I'll see her again.
I just hope that after today, you and your family can find some peace. That is what I wish for you. Hopefully, you will receive some peace now.
Where's Kenny? He's in that bag. That's what you said. There is no way around it. You killed this kid.
I did.
You killed this kid, and you destroyed evidence by burning the bed. You destroyed evidence by burning his body in the pit.
No, I did not burn him.
Who did?
I don't know.
This is the moment Sheila LaBar realizes she's going to jail.
One of the first things they note is a burn pile not far from the front door. Not only do they see what they believe is human flesh, but also some bones or bone fragments.
LaBar stands accused of dismembering and burning the body of 24-year-old Kenneth County, a special needs adult she took on as a live-in lover.
Sheila wasted no time painting Kenneth in a negative light, making disturbing accusations against him.
He was running from death, running from a situation down there, which includes pedophilia. Okay. He's confessed this to me, that he has raped numerous children. And he had blood coming out of his nose.
He had blood coming out of his manhood.
Watch as detectives unravel the gripping tale that changed the course of every life it touched.
In my opinion, she's a violent predator. She's a black widow who really preyed on vulnerable men. Got the torture and the violence and the abuse at her hands was just unspeakable.
Kenneth County, whom Sheila began dating on Valentine's Day in 2006, moved to Epping just days into their relationship to live and work with her on her farm. But by March 23, 2006, his mother, Carolyn Lodge, began fearing for her son's life.
Carolyn reaches somewhat of a breaking point when she gets a call from Sheila LaBar, who tells Carolyn that Kenny is no longer living with her.
When police arrived at Sheila's ranch to question about Kenneth County's disappearance, they made a shocking discovery.
We showed up, there was a burn pile. I kind of moved it a little bit, and I looked down and I saw a piece of flesh.
There was a bone.
When police requested to examine the bone, Sheila demanded them to leave her property. With no search warrant, the police had no option but to depart.
While the search warrant is being executed at Sheila's house, she willingly comes in and does a long interview with two highly experienced police officers.
You're being recorded right now? Correct. Okay, do you mind if we consent to tape stay? I understand. Okay, do you mind if we record it? No, I don't mind at all. Okay. And Sheila, we're here. You had mentioned Adam earlier before we go on tape. Who's Adam? Is he a tenant of yours? Or? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Adam is Kenneth Michael County, but he wanted to change his name. Okay. Now, I didn't do that. It used to cost $50. I don't know what it costs now, but I wasn't going to give him my last name, LeBar. He wanted to be with me. He was running from death, running from a situation down there, which includes pedophilia. Okay. He's confessed this to me, that he has raped numerous children. And he was running from debt. But he didn't start in with this. Or obviously, I wouldn't have let him stay in my home. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if the line's recorded or not, but I have the tape somewhere. I'm just not sure where it is because I'm just very confused right now. I'm upset.
Sheila attempts to cast herself as the victim by tarnishing Kenneth's reputation, but in reality, he is the perfect target for her controlling nature, a fact his mother, Carolyn, highlighted as she spoke about her son's vulnerabilities.
Does he have any disabilities at all?
Yes, he is. He was put through a neuropsychological testing when he was a child, and it stated on the neuropsychological testing that he's mildly retarded.
Okay.
I just thought of something I haven't told anyone. Okay. If I did, I told it to Chief Dodge. He's a good guy.
What did you think of?
Adam told me that he changed his name. Wallace said that's typical of pedophiles. I didn't know that. I mean, we didn't legally change it. He told me that.
He told you that he changed his name?
No. I'm sorry. I just remembered something.
Do they have to do with Adam? Can you tell us what they are?
He told me that he had been planning to rob me. And that he had, because I noticed somebody had been in my purse. And I said, Adam, are you going in my purse while I'm asleep?
Who in their right mind would let someone allegedly guilty of child assault and robbery threats live under their roof? Pay close attention as Sheila's sudden shift in tone reveals that her grief is merely an act.
But how did it come that Adam ended up at your house?
The first time?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't spend the night or come inside the first time.
Let me ask this, Sheila.
Yes, sir.
I was told that recently Adam ended up in some sort of a wheelchair.
Oh, okay.
Tell me about that.
Okay, all that was I said, do you want me to push you in the chair this time? And he said, yeah, I've always wanted to be pushed in a wheelchair. But he's a heroin addict. He's a crack addict, and I didn't know that.
Adam is?
Yes, he told me this. And he
Where
claims
did the wheelchair come from?
Walmart. It's a Walmart chair.
Oh, it's a
right
Walmart chair. Oh, okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay. And this was down at the Epping Walmart?
Right.
Did he have any injuries on him?
Yes, he did, because of the pot that exploded from Walmart, a glass pot. I don't remember what date that was because I have a background in surgery. Not as a surgeon.
But the pot exploded at the house?
That is correct. But we picked up the glass because of my rabbits. They jumped through, and my house is a barn. It's just the way I am.
And
that's true, and that's what's we didn't.
So you were pushing him around in the wheelchair at Walmart.
But he didn't have to be in the wheelchair.
It was just for fun.
Correct.
Did he
not to make a deal with Walmart about that. We didn't. I swear to God, we did.
But it was just for fun between you and Adam.
Right.
That's fun.
Right. That's right.
However, the detectives had a different perspective on Kenneth's appearance when he was last seen at Walmart.
And then at some point, you run into him again at the Walmart.
Yes. Yep.
Things are a little different at that point, though.
They are. He has some bruising. He looks a little bit ashen in color, and he's in a Walmart wheelchair. And I asked him several times, if he was okay and if everything was all right. And he refused to talk to us.
I want to go back to when you were going to try to help Adam.
All right.
How did you go about trying to help him?
Well, I helped him financially. Financially, I didn't give him money.
No. I'm not talking financially. When you were going to try to help him get past this pedophilia issue, how did you try to help him?
All right. I hired a polygraph expert, paid $700 cash.
Recently?
Correct. The 7th. In fact, it may be in the mail. I haven't seen it, but he already told me that he passed. Basically, the test entails Kenneth Michael County having sexual intercourse with someone who he calls mother. I've heard her voice one time, and she is not British. Apparently, she's been coming into this PD. I mean, I can't speak for the PD, but trust me. He said that was his mother. She is not from England. Now, the stepfather, I've never met any of these people. The woman parades around naked. A sworn statement that I took from him was faxed to FPD, Billerica, and Wilmington.
I'm getting a little confused. I'm just
It's a
going to
typewritten statement.
no. I'm going to slow you down though. We were just talking about him taking the polygraph test, and you said that you set that up and paid for it. Who did the polygraph test?
George Tetra.
And when was that done?
St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, of this year.
Correct.
And where was that done?
At my farm.
Okay.
Which the house looked better than it does now.
And so George Tatro came in and gave Adam a polygraph test.
Correct.
Okay. And what was the question he asked him?
Well, his notes are at the house.
Okay. But he asked him, and when you said he passed, does that mean that Adam said I molested kids and that he passed? How did he pass? What do you mean by that?
He passed. Those questions were not asked.
Okay.
That's one way I protected him, because I wasn't sure if he seriously was doing it or had done it.
What question was asked?
One of the questions, to the best of my knowledge, was about he and his mother, Carolyn Lodge, having sex. And he passed that. And he passed the part that it's been occurring since I don't know if George, because I wasn't allowed there. But it's tape recorded legally. I got consent first, but I'm not sure where the tape is. It's in one of those suitcases I have out front.
So he admitted to having sex with his mother when he was a child, or her having sex with him.
As he said, as far back as he can remember.
Did he admit to having sex with any children now that he's an adult?
Not in front of George Tetro, no.
Did he admit that to you, though, you said earlier?
That is correct.
Okay. Did George ask him that question?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Do you believe that Adams had sex with children?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that, but the way he looks.
But you had said earlier, I thought you insinuated that you might believe that he may have had sex with children.
Well, yes.
It disturbed you how he looked at children.
Yes.
Did you think that was a problem?
He said his mother says he has a staring problem.
Okay.
I said there isn't any such thing as a staring problem.
Did you think he was a danger to children?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when you were trying to help him get over that, you said that you burned the videotapes. What else?
Oh, I didn't burn anything about children. I would never do that.
Okay.
I never had anything in my possession about children.
How did you help you? But you were trying to help. Okay, the home.
Sheila's disturbing statements were the result of yet another horrifying discovery.
Conversations with her sister Lynn actually confirm sexual abuse in her life, starting with her father.
He had his hand around her, and his hand was up her little dress.
And her father's friends, which he would invite to take part in abuse of Sheila.
From a traumatic childhood to a dark adulthood, she spiraled into a life where she manipulated men for money and pleasure and eventually committed multiple chilling murders.
Remember when he said, "Help me," and you said, you were helping him. How, other than the burning of the homosexual tapes, what else did you do to help him?
I talked to him about God.
Okay. And you had said earlier that God,
he was an atheist.
And God,
and then he wanted to be a Christian.
Okay. And you said that God, has a master plan. What was his master plan for Adam?
Oh, no, I never said to him that God has a master plan.
No, but you said to us that God has a master plan.
No, I didn't. If you listen to the tape, you'll hear me refer to God as the master.
Okay. Well, so the master, do you believe God has a master plan?
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm a Southern Baptist, and we call God the master.
Okay.
Right. But Jesus can be called numerous names. That's the side of my refrigerator.
Okay. How are you helping Adam?
Well, I talked to him about God. I said, I think you're an atheist. I said, how can you doubt God's existence? And I said, and God says, suffer all little children to come unto me. It was a new lesson. It means that you need to stop looking at them and stop getting excited.
In addition to portraying Kenneth as a narcotics user, Sheila also describes him as an atheist.
Sheila, let me ask you this.
That's another reason.
If we have some concerns, obviously, about Adam and that he potentially could hurt children. So it's important we find him. Where do you think we could look for Adam and find him?
I don't know, because the last time, meaning it was either after or before I called Sergeant Gallagher and played the tape. And he said, Sheila, I've never heard you like this. I've never heard you like this. I don't remember if he was, seems like he was there, but I'm not sure. Because I have what I call cat skin fever from too much radiation. And my neurons are flexing. It's not drugs or medication or anything.
Yeah.
It's just, I actually was over-radiated.
But seriously, Sheila, I believe you, but this is really important. We need to find out where Adam is, just so we know the children are safe.
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I've been sifting through bone fragments.
Why have you been sifting through bone fragments?
Because I want to know what has been put in my yard.
What do you think's been put in your yard?
I don't know. I mean, without a conclusive test. But I found a tooth.
Okay, so is that possible that that's Adam's tooth? Okay.
No. I don't know.
What else did you find in your yard?
You mean sifting?
Yeah, you said you found bone fragments.
Right, but I don't remember where I put them. I cremated a rabbit that I thought maybe he had killed, but he denied. But I was iffy on that. I still am not sure that he did. I don't know. Because the reason being, coyotes, it goes with the coyote. You don't see it again. Fisher cats, they eviscerate and they take it with them. So with a human, we'll leave it. He'll leave it.
So somebody left a dead rabbit?
One in mine, correct. And he watched it cremated in the general area. We're now finding different bone.
Okay, so who watched you cremate it?
He did.
Adam? Mm-hmm. And when did you find this dead rabbit?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay. But he watched you cremate it?
Yes.
Okay. So today is Saturday. Was it within the last week that you cremated the rabbit?
I don't remember for sure. I really don't. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's not really, I don't remember because I don't sleep upstairs. I was sleeping downstairs and I only burned the mattress because it just grossed me out because now I have to go get an AIDS test because he said he thought he had AIDS and he had blood coming out of his manhood.
He had blood coming out of his manhood?
He got real sick. It wasn't meaning, I don't know. I thought he was just withdrawing from heroin. I said, do you have syphilis? Do you have AIDS? I said, do you have AIDS? And he says, and I just froze.
So, what do you think the bones are from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Without a test, and I don't have the capacity to test that.
Right. When did the bones show up?
Well, I didn't notice the bones until the police were in the yard yesterday.
So when the police came to your yard yesterday, that was the first time?
But I mean, I'm not talking about the rabbit bones. I picked most of those up and will dispose of them.
These are the bones that you can't identify what they are. The bones.
Repeat, please.
The bones that you can't identify what they are, what they belong to.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Those are the bones, not the rabbit bones. I'm talking about those bones.
I couldn't find all the rabbit bones because I'm sorry for that.
No, it's okay. So, but I'm interested in these other bones that aren't the rabbit bones.
When detectives steer the discussion toward the burn pile and bone fragments, Sheila tries to deflect by speaking ill of Kenneth.
But I'm starting to get confused on each other. We gotta slow down so I can understand. If you said that he has the potential to hurt himself, okay?
Well, I've seen him hit himself.
Do you think he'd have the potential to kill himself?
Yes.
All right. If Adam was going to kill himself,
I think he is suicidal.
how would he do that? How would he kill himself?
I don't know. I couldn't possibly say. I don't know.
Did he ever tell you?
He told me that. Let's see, what did he say? Oh, he said something about burning in hell. Will I burn in hell? And I said, I don't know. That's such a mess. Such a God. I can't say that.
If Adam was going to leave your house to kill himself, where would he go?
I have no idea because.
Would he kill himself at your house?
Probably.
Okay.
Because he had a habit of walking up the road and standing there at a tree.
Okay, so if those bones that are at your house that you know aren't your rabbit's bones, is it possible those are Adam's bones?
Well, using the word possible, then one could say it is possible. But without definitive testing, I don't know.
What if we have them definitively tested and they're Adam's bones?
Then either he or someone else did something to him.
Okay. But if he did something to himself, he wouldn't be able to burn himself, right?
Sure he could.
How would he do that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how he would do it. I could only speak about myself.
But I'm just saying, if somebody kills himself, it's kind of hard to burn themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, he's a sadomasochist.
Okay. How would he do that then?
Well, I don't know because I didn't see.
Okay.
But I know that the fire was blazing, and he said to me one time something to the effect of, I don't know if it was set myself on fire. I don't know. I emptied my shells from my weapons.
You emptied all your weapons?
And put those shells up when he was around.
What kind of guns do you have?
I have a 38. Honey, I know you're scared. It's okay. You're trying to climb. I have to take you out. It's not have water. I'm just scared. I have a 38 revolver. I can't think of the brand name right now.
That's okay.
Having decimated the character of both Kenneth and his mother, Sheila then suggests the possibility of him ending his own life. Sheila is jeopardizing her situation by inadvertently giving the police more reasons to search her residence.
Let me ask you this, Sheila. Is it possible that you might not remember something, but that maybe Adam tried to hurt you and you had to defend yourself against him? Did anything like that ever happen?
Well, I smacked him one time like this.
Okay. Why did you do that?
Because he started acting crazy and weird. He just started jumping and jerking around in my rabbit's room before.
And what happened when you hit him?
Nothing.
What did he do?
He hugged me and cried.
Okay.
And I said, I'm sorry for slapping.
Other than that time slapping him, did you ever physically confront him? Hit him, smack him, punch him?
No.
Strike him with anything?
No. He got injured from a Walmart product that's no longer, I don't see it in the store anymore. It exploded. I had water boiling in it. I don't know what he was doing, but he was over there close to it. And it had a lid on it. And that's been jumped, I think, at the effing dock. Well, it had to be.
Sheila, do you think Adam might be dead?
I don't know.
Does that concern you?
Well, it concerns me because I don't want him to come back and harm me or my animal.
Did you want him out?
I wanted him to be safe.
But did you
and
want him?
happy? But he didn't want to go around his mother anymore.
But Sheila, you're not answering my question. Did you want him out?
Well, I didn't want to support him anymore, if that's what you mean. I didn't throw him out.
No, but you wanted him out. You wanted him to leave. You didn't want him living there.
I wanted to break up with him, yes.
Okay.
But I wasn't angry.
Did you tell him that?
Yes, and he cried.
When did you tell him that?
Several times.
When was the most recent time?
I don't recall.
Did you tell him on the day he left?
No.
What was the conversation like on the day he left? The last day you saw him?
I was asleep
I'm not talking about the moment he left.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last conversation you had with him before? The last time you saw him, what was that?
The tape.
And
where I tape recorded him and had him admit how he molested those children.
So the last time you talked to him was you taping him admitting that he molested children?
Well, no, we talked after that. I recall I probably cooked him something to eat.
No, but wasn't he upset? I mean, he just admits to molesting kids.
No.
He wasn't upset?
No.
Were you upset?
Yes, I was crying. I said, I'm reporting this. I said, I'm bound by law to report it. I'm reporting it.
So you told him you were going to report it?
Yes.
What did he say to that?
Well, he wasn't happy about that, but he didn't. You know, he said, his eyes got real big, and he said, I'll kill myself. And I said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then I ran and double checked my guns. And I said, you've not loaded or touched my guns, have you? And he said, no. And then I put them up somewhere else. I had him do something that I put them somewhere else. So then after that, I went back.
Okay, but the last conversation was him telling you all this stuff on tape about him molesting children, and then you said you had to report it, which you do,
right? And
then he said he's going to kill himself, and then you went and checked your guns.
But I was right because I thought that would be. I thought, oh my God, you know, is he going to do that? Because he went for my leopard circular thing where I keep my handgun sometimes. I have lots turned again to that I don't use them because nobody comes down.
Okay, but
so it's just me.
So he says he's going to kill himself. He looks for your gun and your
No, that's not true. He did not look for my gun. He didn't go anywhere near my gun.
I thought you said he looked in the cheetah thing or something that you keep the gun in something.
No, replay the tape.
Okay.
If you want to.
Well, I'm not saying I don't believe you.
I just say that.
Okay, what did you say?
About what?
Looking for, he didn't look for the guns?
No. He said that he wanted to make his parents sorry. Then he wanted to make everybody sorry.
For what?
No. Well, because his mother molested him repeatedly. They were on a schedule Tuesday and Thursday, he said, every time his stepfather was gone. He went over there, and of course, he claims she walks around naked, parading naked in front of the windows, which could be public indecency. If children see it or it's harassing other people, and I don't do that.
Okay, but let's get back to Adam for a minute. So you tell him you're going to report it to the police.
And I did.
And he says he's upset with that his parents are going to regret it, his family's going to regret it. Is that correct?
He said he didn't want to ever go back down there.
Okay.
That he'd rather die than go back around there.
But he didn't say they were going to regret it?
He did say that. He said that everybody's going to be sorry or something like that. I don't know who everybody is. Maybe me too.
Okay, so how does that conversation end?
Well, these are questions that are difficult to answer because perhaps it didn't end. Perhaps he went and watched TV and I cooked and, there was no arguing.
There was no arguing?
No.
When you tell him, I got to report this to the police, that you're a pedophile?
No.
And his eyes get big?
They got big, but he told me, he said, it's time that I stopped. And he said, I'm going to make myself stop or something like that.
That sounds unusual to me, Sheila.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Because he's a criminal.
An unusual person.
No, and I understand that, but
he just cried his eyes out.
Yeah.
Even with the polygraph man will tell you that. The polygraph couldn't begin until, of course, I had to leave. But it's legally tape recorded. I have the tape somewhere in my tapes.
I'm able to watch, and as I'm watching Sheila, it is clear she is enjoying this. It is a cat and mouse game, and she wasn't giving up anything. And she enjoyed the attention.
Did he ask you to kill him? So he wouldn't hurt anymore?
No, but I asked him to kill me one time.
Why?
Because I had a heart attack in the kitchen floor, and he didn't care. He actually just stared at me, and I could just barely see him from my peripheral vision. And he was just looking at me. And then, for some reason, God let me read his mind for a moment. And I know he was thinking, die. If you die, I'm going to rob you. I asked him when I got myself out of the floor. I said, you were just thinking about robbing me. And he went, that's right.
How come earlier you were asking the chief to end your life? You asked Adam once to end your life, and you've asked the chief earlier today. He told me to end your life. Why were you saying that?
Because I've committed suicide before in the 80s. I was in a brain dead coma, and it was beautiful, and I didn't want to come back. That's why.
But why today? Why did you want the chief to shoot you today?
Because I just want to be where it's peaceful.
Why isn't it peaceful here now?
I mean, at the farm, they put me in the shop when we drove up, and there were two police cars there, and they kicked in my door, and they were standing there in the dark, and one had a bushwhacker thing or something.
But that's not a reason to feel that way, Sheila. Why did you
I
want him
didn't
to end
understand why they were doing it. I didn't understand why they kicked in my door. And I'm just saying that 5 years of legal stress, going through so many lawyers, it has aged me. I used to be a professional model. You should see some of my pictures. That's not to be cutesy, but that's the only proof that could prove to you that I'm right. But the stress of the Irish people, the stress of all of that, they're out for me.
How about the stress of Adam?
Well, he hasn't called me, to my knowledge, but he also told me he wouldn't when he left. And that's Cancer Male. I dated another one.
That's Cancer what?
Cancer Male. He's a Cancer. I'm 4th of July. He's July 18th.
Okay.
And he said his father's a Cancer. They're just like that. They don't.
If I check his horoscope, am I going to be able to find him? Being a Cancer and all.
What do you mean?
You got to find this guy.
Well, I don't know how to help you. I only know how to sift. That's what I was trying to do because I'm trying to help.
Do you think those bones are his?
I don't know. I can't rule that in or out.
You think it's possible that they're his?
I've answered that for this lady before. I said, in the sense, in the context or whatever, I said, possible. Many things are possible. Mm-hmm. It's possible I could accidentally knock that out of her. I'm not trying to be rude. I apologize.
You're not being rude, Sheila. And I'm very hard to offend anyway.
All right, I'm just telling you that. If he did it, he did it. And he...
Would you have helped him do it?
No.
So it gets done right?
No.
And there's no shame in if somebody wants to kill themselves and helping them do that, Sheila.
No.
There isn't.
No. I told him that I would testify in court against him. And he didn't like that. I said, you're going to get me back, aren't you? And he said,
We don't have enough legally to go forward, and so we have to release her. We decide that police need to tail her and follow her while we continue to work on gathering enough to get an arrest warrant. The police are following her first thing in the morning and reporting back to myself and their unit commanders. And within a half hour of the first report, they lost her. She vanished, she disappeared.
Her picture is pasted on TVs throughout New England at this point as the manhunt continues for this now suspected murderer.
While Sheila fled, the discoveries in her home left the detectives shaken.
When we sprayed a chemical reagent that reacts to human blood, the toilet bowl all around the sides of the toilet bowl reacted. So we decide to pump the septic system. And when we do so, we find a birth certificate belonging to someone named Mike Deloge. It raises serious alarm bells. This is the kind of document that you don't flush down a toilet unless you're trying to erase somebody's existence.
So this, of course, puts the community even more on edge because now we start to get the sense that Were there other murders that happened on that farm?
She had flushed down the toilet his birth certificate and some other evidence. That's how we even knew about Mike Delage, because there was no report about him missing. And they began to say, who is Mike Delage? His body was never recovered. It's fair to assume that she did the same thing to his body that she did to Kenneth County's body.
We have the swirling accusations about her. And now, on top of that, we're finding body parts.
There were toes that were found at that farm that didn't belong to Kenneth County or to Michael Deloge. In the newsroom, we get word that Sheila LaBar has been arrested just over the border in Massachusetts. There is now this huge sense of relief that she has been caught and will now be brought back to New Hampshire to face charges.
What is not the truth?
The identification of Ken County was solidified when we finally were able to get a 100% match through forensic radiology.
It is absolute. You can bang your fist, bang your hand, all you want. You know, I know.
No.
It is not the truth.
No.
You're lying to me.
I'm not
You killed this kid and you burned his body in the pit. Now I want to know why. Was that Kenny you burned in that pit, or was it Adam you burned in the pit? Which one?
I didn't burn.
Was it Kenny or Adam?
Anybody.
Kenny or Adam? Kenny, did you kill
Neither.
Kenny or Adam?
No, sir.
Why did you kill him?
I didn't kill anyone.
Why? Did he want to leave you? Did you kill him because he
No.
wanted to leave you? A young man leaving an older woman? And maybe, did you feel a little slighted maybe?
Sir, he wanted to stay with me and marry me.
Oh, he did. Is that why you killed him?
I did
You
not.
killed him because he wanted to marry you?
I did not kill him or anyone.
Then who did you kill? Kenny or Adam?
Anyone.
Then how can you explain telling Officer Wallace that Kenny is in that bag? He's in that bag. How can you explain that?
Because he had threatened to set himself on fire. Just a minute.
Oh, so he did this to himself then, right?
I don't know that.
He did this
no,
to
I
himself.
don't
And you
know.
might have went out there and helped it out a little bit, right?
No.
No?
No.
No. Throw the bed on top of the flame too, on top of the fire. Destroy the bed. Why did you burn that bed?
I've answered that question.
No, you didn't answer it because you lied to me. I want the truth. Why did you burn that bed?
Because I didn't want to.
Because there was blood on the bed. That's why you burned that bed.
No.
You was destroying evidence.
No.
Just like Adam or Kenny. You destroyed Adam or Kenny. Why? Because he's evidence. And how did you do that?
No.
You put that guy in the burn pit.
No, I didn't.
You're a liar.
I'm not a liar. I did not, sir. And I called Chief Dodge to tell him I was burning the bed because I had slept on it or whatever I said with a pedophile or whatever.
How do you know he was a pedophile?
Because he made a sworn, legally
Oh,
recorded
yeah.
tape
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And it
I
never-
heard that tape.
So? I mean, what do you mean, sir?
I heard the tape. It's a joke. It's a joke. You killed that kid. You put him in the pit.
No, I did not.
You're a liar.
I'm not a liar.
Absolute liar.
First of all.
You're a religious person?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, you know what you
It's a goat.
say what?
The kid is a
Yeah, well, he's 24 years old as a kid to me.
25.
You killed that kid.
I did
24,
not
25,
kill him.
26. You killed him.
I did not.
You buried, put him in the
This
pit.
is the first time that I found out that he's dead.
That's a lie, and you know it. You know why? Because when Officer Wallace went over to the house and he asked you, "Where is Kenny?" you said, "He's in that bag."
There-
You're a liar.
No comment. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. And if that's going to be played for anyone, the whole thing has to be played.
You better believe it's going to be played because you've only heard a little piece of it. You heard the portion that I wanted you to hear. That's a lengthy, lengthy tape.
I did not.
And you better believe if that thing's played, the whole thing is going to be played.
I hear you. Believe me, I hear you. Everyone hears you.
You think you're going to convince me that you didn't kill that kid?
I'm not trying to convince you of anything.
Well, you're lying to me.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely
lying
lying to me.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
How do you think this looks to you right now? How do you think the whole thing looks?
Well, based on the racism and
Forget that. That's got nothing
Give
to
me a
do with
break. It's
Think
a
of-
saying. Give me a break, okay? Racism. Give me a break.
So, and Chief Dodge.
Despite their relentless efforts, the detectives are still nowhere near a confession.
Is he dead?
You know he's dead. What are you asking us for? You killed him.
I didn't.
You burned him.
Kill him. No.
You incinerated him.
I did not.
You're asking us?
I did
Give
not.
me a break.
I did not.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Are you a split personality then?
No.
No?
What happened to him? Why did you think he was in the bag?
No.
Why did you sift those remains? Why were you picking things out of that pile? Why do you care? If you're burning something to destroy them, why do you care?
If he had
You
done
didn't
that
care.
or somebody had done that
You
to
didn't care.
I did
You
care,
didn't
and I care now.
Sheila, you could not have cared.
If you cared about that kid right now, then you would tell me the truth. You would tell me the truth.
He's a man.
Yeah, he was a man. You know why? Because you killed him.
care
He's
about
dead.
I love him still.
Then why didn't you call his mom to see if he had made it back home if you're so concerned about
His
him?
mom, I
his
didn't
mother,
ever know.
or his father, anybody. You knew his family. You knew how to get a hold of them. You left messages of them for crying out loud.
I did not ever leave a message with
You
his
never
family.
called any part of his family ever?
No.
Never?
Sir, never.
Sheila, that is a
Never.
lie. You
Never
called
lied.
the family.
No, excuse me.
I've heard the tape, Sheila. You called the family.
What are you talking about?
You called the stepfather. You called at least twice. At least twice. You left messages with him.
What are you talking about? What messages?
Did you not ever call the stepfather? Ever?
Sir, no. He called us.
Did you call the stepfather
didn't.
and leave a voicemail? Did you leave a...
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Stepfather, excuse me.
whoa!
No, you got me confused. Stepfather's different than his father. You're talking about that man from England. I called him left one message at
How many?
the insurance. One.
How many?
One.
Wrong.
At the insurance fund.
Wrong.
Well,
We have the tape, Sheila.
well, if I did.
We're going to sit here and
What
play
do I do?
tapes all night for you, Sheila?
No, sir, but he
Sheila,
wanted me to do that. Adam wanted me to call, make those calls, whatever I did.
You just say you never called. Now you called.
But I got confused. I thought you meant
I'm confused. Sheila, I'm confused. You're all over the place. You're lying. We cut you in many, many lies. You called us liars because you said you never said that. I played it to you. You did say it. And there's a lot more. There's a lot more.
Taken out of context.
Oh, yeah, right.
That is what you said.
Where's Kenny? Where's Kenny? He's in that bag.
And then you go on to say human remains, and you further say the Walmart bag. The same bag you were sifting for me. You put his remains in that bag. I don't think they were for me, but you put them in that bag, didn't you?
Chief Dodge.
Why would I want those?
Chief Dodge. Why would I keep those if I had done that? Why would I not get rid of that if I'd done that?
How do we know that's what you were trying to do? Huh?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You probably didn't expect 6 cruises pulling you out that morning either.
Of course I did.
You were surprised by our
No, I
period
wasn't.
there.
No,
Yes, you were.
No, I was
Yes,
not.
you were. If you ran in the house, you locked the door. If you knew we were coming, you would have stood there in the yard and waited for us.
No.
Saying, you know what? I knew
No.
you'd be here.
No.
You locked yourself in the house.
No,
You
I
locked
didn't.
yourself in the house.
No, I didn't. I ran
Yes,
it.
you did.
I ran it and I peed.
And you did not.
Yeah, how
You
did
did
know
not.
that? Of course I did.
Because I went right to the door and you were at it.
I ran in there real quick and I peed.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Sheila's trial was set to begin in March 2008, but in February, her legal team dropped a bombshell.
In other words, you are agreeing that you committed the acts of murder, but you are saying you are not legally responsible for your actions because of your mental condition at the time. Is that right?
That is correct.
At issue, was she insane at the time she admittedly killed 2 of her boyfriends? Her defense says yes, but the state says she knew exactly what she was doing.
The defense offered was just psychobabble about her mental state. It was calculated and it was deliberate and it was horrific.
The defense played up that surely somebody that did all of these things must be insane.
You know, you're crazy. Coffee, hot coffee with extra cream and extra sugar. Hot coffee.
Do you think there are other victims out there?
Yes. If she met a homeless guy in New York City and took him home and killed him, we would never know. She was using every and all means of disposal.
But you definitely believe there are other victims out there.
Yes.
On June 20th, 2008, the verdict was announced.
How say you? Is the defendant sane and guilty, or is the defendant not guilty by reason of insanity? I hereby sentence you to 2 life in prison without the possibility of parole sentences at the New Hampshire State Prison, and you are remanded to the custody of the sheriff.
So when the verdict was finally announced, they could not hold their emotion back anymore. The mother of LeVar's second victim, Kenneth County, weeps as she hugs prosecutor Jane Young. Young herself can't hold back the tears. In fact, all 3 of the prosecuting attorneys cry as they hug the family. But Kenneth County's mother and father were perhaps the most emotional. Divorced and both remarried, they reunited for an embrace as this trial brought both of their families together.
The harrowing case of Sheila LaBarre reveals a chilling descent into manipulation, violence, and madness. Her calculated acts of cruelty and deception resulted in the tragic deaths of innocent men. Now serving life in prison, LaBarre's reign of terror is over, but the scars she left behind still haunt those who crossed her path. Do you think Sheila was truly a serial killer? Share your thoughts on this chilling case in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more such content.